play, but
Right.
Okay. Thumbs up. They got to turn that off in there, though. All right. Podcast number... Fuck. 5? 6. Jay.
6?
He had a thumb up, too. He was like this. 6. We have
Number
a special
6.
guest here today. Her name is Allie.
Hi.
Hi, Allie.
Hi, Allie.
How's it going?
Welcome.
She's like, why did you bring me here, damn it? This is crazy. All right, so the sun came out a little bit today. It was raining. It's a little bit better.
I didn't leave the house.
You didn't leave the house at all?
I don't think so.
Just to come here?
Just to come here. I worked this morning.
Damn. You worked from home.
I did.
I was like...
I did. Yeah. I signed up to work Sundays in April.
I worked this morning,
virtually.
too. I tattooed an old friend that I've been tattooing for a million years, and he's a sweetheart. He's growing his little family, and they're doing really good, and he's great. He's an awesome guy. So that was nice. Allie, did you work today?
No.
Not at all?
No.
It was a good day.
I sang at church.
Is that work, though?
No.
I haven't sang in church
But it was
in
an
a while.
early morning.
Was it? Is that why
Yes.
margarita's later?
Yeah.
That
Margarita's
makes
for
sense.
lunch.
I gotcha. That changes the view on church for me.
You more open to it now?
I mean, I don't really drink margaritas, but a burrito sounds delicious. I'm into that. So, I got some questions. Did you have a hard week or a medium week? We always ask this question, so I need to know. Hard week or medium week?
Hard week.
Wow.
Yeah.
Getting hard.
Yeah.
Time of year. We talked
Yep.
about it before, spring.
Yep.
Do you like spring or hate spring?
I like spring.
Man, it's my favorite. But she brought up that it's a lot of people reevaluating where they're at in life because they needed to get shit done in the winter and they didn't.
Okay.
Yep.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it gets a little crazy.
Yeah. So busy.
Super busy.
Cases aren't any harder. Just
Mine was busy. I had a client cry 3 times while I was tattooing
in
her.
a session.
Yeah, she was going through it.
Was it a big piece?
No, I mean, yeah, it was decent size. It was like
Where
3
was it
hours.
located?
On her arm. I didn't make her cry.
Right.
I mean, my
It was like 3 times in like 5 hours, or like 3 times in like an hour and a half.
in like 3 hours.
Okay.
But like she was just going through it. Like
Yeah.
she has gotten so much better in her life, but like we were just talking about some shit, and I always feel bad because I'm just like, fuck, here we go. But she was super growing. But man, she was having it. She's like, why did I have to tell her? Like, why are you talking about this? I'm like, you're talking about this. Like, I'm
just
just
asking
sitting
the
here.
right questions.
Right. You know what I mean? So it was kind of a lot. You do hair.
I do.
How many? You don't have people cry that often, though, do you? Like when
No,
you do
I
like real
wouldn't
tight
say-
braids.
I don't do braids. But
They'll
no.
cry.
No, not often.
No.
Yeah, it's a little more upbeat than my conversations.
Yeah,
probably.
we're pretty peppy.
Have you noticed how people open up to you? Is it crazy sometimes? Are you
Yes.
like, why are you telling me this? Because hairdressers and tattoo artists kind of, we're the same kind of,
Yeah.
we evolve or, revolve around that kind of same thing. I thought of something that since I seen you last, and I figured I might as well bring this up here because I was talking to another client who also does hair, and she did tattoos for a while too, and I was like, I feel like a prostitute at a brothel.
In what way?
Tell me more.
So
Elaborate.
my booth is cleaned up, my room is cleaned up, I have a nice space, clean, I'm ready. You come in, we have an intimate moment for a few hours.
Yeah.
And then you leave. It's a fucking mess. I clean up, new face, new client. But we have this like super intimate moment talking about things, no matter what it is. We could be talking about anything, but it's very like private, like not private, like dirty private, but like
Intimate.
it's intimate conversation. And then you leave. And then next, like that. And I was talking to her and I was like, oh my God. So I have a way of detaching from these clients so I'm not tethered to them because there's no way I could function.
Yeah.
Correct? I mean, if I was
yeah.
tethered to all my clients, I'd be fucked. There's no way.
Yeah.
I feel like we talked about emotional sunburn recently. Did we not?
No.
Oh.
Maybe you're having a conversation with me when I'm not around, but I mean, that's
Maybe I
be
talked
odd.
about that elsewhere. Go ahead.
So I'm thinking about this and I'm like, how much of that do I take home?
Yes.
So in your job, I'm sure you have similar things. Like when you're present with them, super present, into it, talking about it, invested. But when they leave, it's gone.
Yeah.
Do you ever find you too? When you go home, do you have that, like, I'm realizing, like, how much detachment do I have in my personal life? You know what I mean? Because, like, I'm present. If I'm with you, I'm going to be present. But when I'm not with you, I'm just doing what I do.
Yeah.
Because I can't, and there's no way that doesn't come home with me.
Yeah.
It kind of scared me a little bit because I was like, well, that could lead to some problems.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that guy.
Secondary trauma.
So how do I know if I'm doing it? And how could I correct it if I am doing it, I guess, is what I'm asking. In a professional manner or a hairdresser manner.
I feel like I do take it with me a little bit.
You take it with you?
Yeah.
I'll take people's stories with me, but what I'm saying is I think I have a way of just putting things where it needs to go.
Yeah.
And that's where it sits. Like, you know, I mean, like a shelf. It just, that's where it goes. I think people want more out of me when I'm not at work than I don't problem solve that way. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay.
I can be present. We can talk. We can, and I'm there. I'm very present. But I don't know why I need to think about it that much when I'm not present. Like, I'm doing other shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm juggling a lot of shit.
Yeah.
So I just don't know if I'm being too, like, I don't let myself down to, like, the guard down.
I might not be the right person to talk to.
Because you're like, why would you do that? Just leave that shit where it needs to go.
So
She's like,
I would imagine that all three of our experiences are different because
so.
you deal with heavy stuff. I think last time we met, you talked about, like, you had a lot of loss and a lot of grief.
Yeah.
And emotional sunburn is what we call that. Like, you get too close,
Yeah.
and you got to heal from that. And you can. It doesn't last super long.
Right.
But
Because it's not in your daily.
right. You, I would imagine, every once in a while get like a heavy hitter one that kind of knocks you a little, but like that's not your norm. Like you said, like we're usually pretty peppy.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing their hair, I'm making them feel better about themselves. And if you ask the wrong question or if you get a super chatty one that just like trauma dumps on you for 2 hours, that's probably not your favorite. Whereas me, like I used to take it home every once in a while. I'm shocked by the nerve that something hits.
It's a little personal.
A little personal.
Yeah.
I usually have to go home and kind of pick that apart a little as to like why though was that one the one.
Look at you being all healthy.
Well, but for the most part, like
Fancy
sometimes
pants over
by
there.
by the time I'm done with my shift, I have to at the hospital, I have to send a shift report and report like how many I saw, dispositions to each one. Like they were hospitalized, they went home. I would say on average, like most days, I don't remember who I saw that day.
I'm not gonna lie. Okay, because I went home to a mate and they're like, "Hey, we're talking.
Yeah.
What all did you do today?" And I was like,
You have to like pause.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I'm constantly doing that,
Yeah.
what does that leave for me at home? Like I know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I feel like nothing can penetrate. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I care about it, but I don't.
Yeah. No, you have to be able to turn it off. Well, so.
No, I want to turn it on. That's the problem.
I know.
It's off. It is like
Well, yeah. So
clicked off. So it's my own like defense mechanism.
So I have these moments of realization, right? So a dear friend of mine all through childhood, his mom passed recently. Haven't seen him in years, but I went to his mom's funeral, went through the line, took forever. I mean, she was a sweet lady.
Yeah.
Helped. Everybody was there. Got up to the line, gave him a hug. He breaks down as he's hugging me. I did not cry.
Were you like, oh, get off me?
No. So here's the
Punk
thing.
ass bitch.
I am not a hugger, but when I hug, I am a good hugger. Like,
Did you
sincere.
work on it?
yes. No.
I didn't know if you had to like practice. Like, I'm not good at
No. I only hug if I mean it. So like, otherwise,
this. You don't just randomly hug people?
I have had people ask me for hugs, and I'm like,
Fist bump.
Fake hugs are
What's a fake hug?
uncomfortable.
Like where you just feel obligated.
Now I feel like we have to demonstrate. You know, like the awkward.
this one?
Like a hand hug. See, I knew what that was. But no, so I mean, he. When other people cry, I don't cry.
Dude, I laugh. I weirdly get uncomfortable and joke. That's horrible.
That's what I do. I giggle when I'm uncomfortable. Self-care.
You are the wrong person to ask.
I know. Self-care is important.
Allie, so when I can't feel anything at home, what do I need to do? Because this over here isn't working. She's like, nah, you sound great.
Don't ask me.
Sounds healthy to me.
Are you shut off when you go home too?
Yeah. To
Is
an
it
extent.
hard?
I feed off of people's energy. So if I have a day of people that are like super negative or super stressed, complaining, instead of feeling like down, I feel like antsy and like irritated myself.
Yeah. I have a couple clients like that. They have this weird like, and I don't get rattled much, but I got a couple people. It's like their indecisiveness. And they're like, but they're very particular, but they're very indecisive. And that's a weird, I'm sure you deal with the same thing. And you're like, I don't care, just do whatever, but I don't want this or this and this. And I'm like, that doesn't work well. And there's a couple people that I'm always like this. Ugh, get off me.
Yeah.
Get off. No fake hugs.
Yeah.
So when you go home to your personal life and if somebody brings something up to you, they're like, this is a fucking big deal. Are you looking at them going, just shut the fuck up?
Yeah. To an extent.
You know what I mean? Because it's
Sometimes,
hard
yeah.
because it's, for me, it's like I deal with people and like you deal with people and I'm sure you do too that are going through some crazy stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And they're mad about some trivial,
Yeah.
super trivial. And it's not trivial to them. We always say that. You know what I mean? It's super important to them. But sometimes I'm just like, really?
I feel like I'm one of two ways. I either come home and want to just like stare at the wall and not be spoken to, or I need to like go do something wild.
And get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Oof.
There's like no in between.
I think when I get home, the quiet makes me happy because it's like I
Yeah,
run my
same.
mouth all day because I have to. And I listen all day because I have to. And when I get home, sometimes it's like,
It's kind of like a talking like hangover.
yeah, and not to be a dick, but like, how much can we really talk when we just seen each other 9 hours ago? Like,
Yeah.
what's transpired that much? Well, I want to hear about your day. I don't want to relive my day some days.
Right.
You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah.
I've had to tell people, like, because we hear some heavy shit at work.
Sure.
And they're like, how come you never talk about your day at work? And I'm like, well, somebody was sexually molested or somebody had, a stillborn or
Yeah,
their
right.
father died or like, I don't want to bring that into my house.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But some people want to insist on that shit and it gets a little hairy and I'm just like, I really don't want to fucking talk about it. You know what I mean? So is it something that you learned through your business over the years that it got better to talk to people or know how to kind of maneuver the conversation?
Absolutely.
In the beginning, it was just like, oh my God, why are you telling me this?
Yeah.
Or
Well, and in one way I'm different. Like from you is a lot of my clients are repetitive. They're coming in every 4, 5, 6 weeks.
I have a lot of that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
But-
Bigger pieces like sleeves, you really get to know somebody when you work on them 40 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty.
But yeah, certain clients, I mean, I've had for like 8 or 9 years. And if they're coming in every month,
I heard
like
about
I
it.
know their triggers or what they find funny or maybe what'll turn the conversation in a good way. Like you
Right.
kind of know
Topics
everyone
to avoid.
personally.
Questions to not ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my client today, I know what he's into. I know about his kids. So I asked, we go through and he knows what to ask me. We've been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
So it works out really easy.
I will say though, at the same time, I do the fact that people feel open enough to talk to me about things. I mean, we kind of like have become family and
Yeah.
like some people just legitimately need someone to talk to. And I think as a stylist or tattoo artist, you're not their family. You're not their friend. You're not going to repeat anything.
We're funny.
Yeah.
They like that shit.
And you're making them feel better
Yeah.
at the end of everything. So
Yeah, even through the pain.
yeah.
Because even getting your hair done, sometimes it hurts.
If you're doing tight braids, yeah.
Well, that's all I do when I'm not here. That's all I do is super tight braids. It's serious. It's a lifestyle. Have you had clients where you just that they're going to be just a huge problem?
Yes.
Oof.
Yeah. A cool situation I actually had, it was probably about 6 months ago. I had a group of clients. It was a mom, dad, daughter, and her husband. and they had been clients of mine for like 8 years. And every time they would come in, I would feel like the life was being sucked out of me. They're very political.
The whole family?
Yes, it was horrible.
Did they agree on it, or did
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Then what are they even talking about?
They just, like, the vibe they carried was very, like, the world was against them, and they were just dark, whatever. And out of nowhere, they contacted me one day and told me that they were no longer going to
Need your services?
Yeah. So at first I was bothered by it. I mean, that's 4 clients. But
For years.
the following week, I had a woman call in the salon. She just needed a root touch up really quick. She was going to a wedding. And in that period of, I think it was like 6 months, I've gained her and 12 other family members as
Just
clients.
because you opened up space?
And I love their family. Like, they're so, like, it was kind of a cool.
They're so not political.
No. And they're so kind and fun. So, like, it kind of.
Worked out.
Yeah.
Made space for it. That, you got lucky.
I did.
I get a lot of guys who are super political, even girls.
I hate it.
I laugh
I
because
avoid it.
I'll literally I make them look up stuff on their phones and just go, okay, well, show me, because I want to see it. Like, you can't just tell me things and I'm going to believe
Inform
you.
me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I don't know it. I want to ask questions and I'm going to ask you to show it to me. And sometimes they're like, oh, I'm like, that's cool, but that's not what really happened, huh?
Yeah.
You know, it's a weird thing. It is a really weird thing. And COVID did not help.
And it grows. Like, at the salon, like, someone over here might say something, and then the woman in the chair beside me and her stylist might, like, it's just, I cannot
So I'm very
stand it.
lucky. My room is private.
Right.
And I've worked where it's an open air kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that sucks because the moment I could be having tattooing you and talking about some, cool shit, if Billy over here wants to dip in and all of a sudden we're like this.
Right.
Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's too much,
Yeah.
know? And sometimes it would add and be beautiful. But most of the time it
Yeah.
doesn't,
Billy killed it.
Yeah, you need little sound booth. You know what I mean?
Shut
you
up,
need like,
Billy.
yeah, Billy, shut
Nobody
your
asked.
fucking
She's
mouth.
Always a
Right.
Billy.
All right, so we touched on this a while back, and we didn't really hit it again, but we need to talk about attachment styles a little bit.
Why?
You don't want to? Is it too heavy?
No, we can.
Okay, because most people talk about it, and I've been asked a lot about it since then. So, how many different attachment styles are there?
I don't know.
A couple. What's the main ones? Secure,
Secure and anxious
anxious, and avoidant.
and avoidant.
Well,
yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah.
And usually these two hang out. This one over here, they're the rare one, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and they're only with each other. These people.
Well, of course. It's like the
Right.
polarity of life, like we
Right.
talk about. Mm-hmm. So, a secure attachment
Yes.
is pretty healthy,
Yeah.
right? Reasonably healthy.
Yeah. Those
So,
are people that want each other, don't need each other.
what do you mean by that, Kelly, when you say things like that for the people out front?
So we were talking earlier about, well, and I guess it ties into previous conversations, right? About like a whole person.
A whole
Like,
ass person.
A whole ass person can be in a secure attachment relationship with another whole ass person. They don't need each other. They are enjoying each other and adding to each other.
So, what we were taught is you're missing something. Were you taught that? Kind of? Yes, no, or society?
Like, you need someone to fill.
Somebody
Yeah.
will complete you.
I wouldn't say I was taught that, but I think that that's kind of like
Naturally
the
to feel that
norm
way.
that
The
people
message
feel.
that you've gotten. Right. Yeah.
So, I find that very dangerous.
Same.
And it doesn't make sense to me.
Also super normal. Like that is like mainstream message.
When I look up the definition of codependent, it is literally, it is actually the description that people give me of what they want in a relationship or expect in a relationship. And I'm just like this going, so I have people that go, well, in a relationship, I said, I want you to look up relationship and look up the definition. And it's so small. It's such a small definition. And I'm like, so anything you're adding on to it, I feel is pretty self-serving.
Yeah.
And for your benefit, you know what I mean? And so the attachment issues, when people have these, do you think they concentrate so much on their attachment issue that they just expect people, or they want people to abide to help them with theirs versus actually working on their own? Because, it's like,
Yeah. I feel like this is going to be broad, but I feel like it's human nature to seek out somebody that will meet your own needs.
yeah,
So if somebody has an anxious attachment style, they need to be needed. So they will find somebody who tries to fill those voids.
Because it's easy.
Because it's helpful.
Yeah. Well, it would make sense.
Right, yeah.
It's like grabbing for an umbrella or
Yeah.
going under
If you're
a tree
hungry,
when it's
you
raining.
go eat. Right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that could get a little hairy.
Well, yes.
That's
Sure can.
because then you just want more. You expect more. Or
Well,
it becomes a
and
norm.
you're-
Like if somebody hands you an apple every day kind of thing.
The problem with an anxious attachment style is if you're better with this person and you need this person, then you're not okay without them.
Which is scary.
That's where it starts to get dangerous. Is if they go on a trip for a month, are you good? Or no, you don't know they don't know how to function without it. They don't know how to feel without them.
Wow.
They can't make a decision without them. And that's where it starts to get into like that codependency of my emotions reflect your emotions. So if I don't have your emotions, I don't know how I feel. And if I think that I feel something, I need you to validate it for me to make sure that that's how I feel. Like it gets.
I think you completely lose yourself too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
That gets dangerous. Mm-hmm. And I've noticed sometimes it happens without you even knowing it.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And does the attachment styles come from your childhood?
Usually.
Okay.
Usually. Either childhood, adolescence, early adulthood.
So like first kind of serious relationships.
Yeah. Like we were talking about, like in your 20s, I feel like those type of relationships still affect your attachment style. I would say like past 30, you're no longer learning or growing in those relationships. It's more like trauma will affect those. Like you know who you are and you know your attachment style or you have your attachment style.
I don't know if you know it.
You might not know your
You're
attachment
living in it
styles.
though.
Yeah. But there has to be a pivotal moment for your personality or attachment style to change past 30, I would say.
Or you start looking at it a little closer. Mm-hmm. Do you notice you're changing as you get older, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate?
Absolutely.
Good or bad? Still on the fence.
Good.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's difficult, right?
Yeah. I had a lot of long-term relationships in my 20s.
Yeah.
And I feel like they were all very similar in how, like, I guess the style of how they worked.
Yeah.
I've always been a helper and a giver. And I think it was because I was doing that to get something back in return. Instead of, like you were saying, being a whole, meeting a whole.
Right.
They were lacking something, so I provided in hopes that they would give me something.
Right.
And it never worked.
I had a client that always said, I help everybody, but when I need help, no one helps me.
Yeah.
And she goes, why does this always happen to me, Thomas? I said, if you were stuck in the mud and my truck pulled, you couldn't get out. You're stuck. Mm-hmm. And I pull you out with my big badass truck. Right?
Right.
If I got stuck, do you think you could pull me out? And she's like, well, no. She goes, oh my God. I was like, yeah.
Right.
If you're helping people, what makes you think they can help you? That's like, and if you're doing it for something in return, that's kind of, like, it's one thing. If you do my hair, I'm going to pay you. And if you get a tattoo, I'm going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's different. That's a service. But it is weird how you're like, it's like keeping track.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, well, I did this, this, and this.
Yeah.
Even though they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And you probably enjoyed doing it for them because it made you feel needed or it made you feel. But did you? I noticed that she would almost insert herself into people's shit to feel better about it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's a very dangerous thing to do. And I always told her, I said, helping is me carrying it with you, not for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Right. Or trying to help people change something that they don't have the insight or discomfort in the first place.
Well, I'd imagine.
Like, you can't change somebody. I hate that. I hate that.
Well,
I hear that all the time. Well,
but it's abusive.
Right.
And it doesn't
right.
work.
It doesn't work.
No.
Like a lot of relationships that I see end, they're like, well, I just don't like them anymore. I don't, love them anymore. And I'm like, so did they change or did you? I would say 75% of the time, they're the ones that changed.
Yeah. And it's okay to fall out of love with someone, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
We're not taught that.
No.
Because that would mean you're not allowed to talk to your mama if she's acting like a dick. You know what I mean? So your mama's not going to tell you, like, hey, it's okay to not love someone anymore, because that would mean you could turn on her. Like, it's like a self-preservation
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So our families teach us, like, no matter what they do to their family, and if you love somebody, you don't give up on them. I'm like, we call bullshit on that all the time, because it's
Yeah.
like, you can only take so much shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what was the pivotal thing, if you don't mind me asking, what was the pivotal thing where you started looking at relationships differently? Like, as far as going, wait a minute, I'm doing this.
I think age, like getting to the point where I was 30 years old and I was still in the same type of situations.
You got a type.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Not my style no more.
Right.
I'm a changed lady. I'm 31 now, but I'm just
Hey,
kidding.
shit changes
That's right.
sometimes. But I mean, you can change in a week.
You know, I like you talking about people falling out of love, though. One thing I've noticed in my personal experience and like with clients and stuff is they'll be with someone for X amount of years and they'll complain about stuff that's going on and, you know, bad habits or hobbies or whatever. And I will always ask, and it's the same question I had to ask myself, like, how long has this been going on? And a lot of times it's been from day one.
I asked the same question.
I mean, and even in my own relationships, like I feel like you meet someone, you're really excited, you connect, like maybe you find them super attractive, whatever. And then like, but from day one, there's all these things that you're like, oh, whatever. Like he's hot, he's
Right, yeah.
funny. Like,
Right.
and then year 2 comes around and those things are still happening and you really don't have anyone to blame but yourself.
Right.
And you can't expect them to change because that's them.
Yeah.
That's been them from day one.
I always
So.
say you can inspire someone. It's beautiful when you're with somebody that inspires you to be a better person. But they're
Absolutely.
not changing you. But you're just like,
Right.
man, that's working out well. I'm going to try that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like that. That's my favorite. That's the best experiences I've had, is when I'm with somebody that truly inspires me to be somebody better than what I started. But changing me, good luck.
Yeah.
My mama can't change me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one can. Then I get real defiant. It's natural for me to just go, oh, okay.
Get some ODD.
Oh man, I can't help it. Like I can't. Like if you say it a nice way to me and make me understand it, I'd probably be okay with it. But when you start getting shitty, I'm just like this. I just shut down. And I don't know how to stop that. I don't know if there's a way to stop that. And I've been trying to figure out a way to stop that, because that has not worked out well for me sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm just like this. You know what I mean? It's like I'm done.
Yeah.
But if you come at me nice, normally I can go, okay, I can understand it. And I react very well to that. But some people get a little hostile, and then I just immediately go, no, I can't do it. And I know that comes from my childhood, you know, and trying to avoid that kind of heightened behavior. Because as soon as that starts getting like that rise, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know, it's fight or
Yeah.
flight, man, and I'm done.
I think communication's huge and knowing how to communicate.
See, that's the thing. You got to follow it up with that, because I ask a lot of people what's important to them in a relationship, and they go, communication. I go, okay, explain it, and they can't. I go, so what does that mean? Communicate how? Oh, I got a new thing. I had a client the other day, and she's kind of going through some shit, and we were talking, and I go, man, I got this idea that I think you should have like a notebook. I'd love to try this. Have a notebook for a couple, and if you got some shit going on, you're only allowed to write it down in there, and you got to let them respond back how they want to respond back, and you don't talk about it outside the book unless it's some serious shit.
That's kind of wild.
But like kind of just like, you know, the little resentful shit. But I'd write it down. Like, hey girl, I don't like when you do this. Is there any way you could stop fucking leaving this out, or blah, blah, blah. And you could write back like, hey, piss off. I'm
Hey,
going to
boy.
keep doing it. Yeah. Hey, oh boy. You know what I mean? But you're only allowed to communicate about that shit, because it's like fair fighting. You're only allowed to talk about one thing at a time. And that's our book. And we don't talk about it outside of that. And people are like, what if it's serious? I go, if it's that serious, then it's serious. But most shit isn't
what's
that serious. But don't you feel like when you write it down, you'll realize really quickly whether it's
How
serious or
ridiculous
not?
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's
that
like,
and you have to think it out.
and you got to write it. You can't text it. You got to write that shit out.
Yeah.
It'd probably help with our grammar a little bit better too.
I will say though, if I'm dating someone and they have an issue with something I'm doing and they can legitimately address me about it, like respectfully and like,
Yeah.
no matter what I've done or if I agree or not, the fact that they're approaching me like in a kind manner and we can actually have a conversation means the world to me.
Yeah.
And I think it's much easier to compromise.
When somebody's being nice.
When
Yeah,
when everybody's
absolutely.
calm.
If you ask me to shovel shit kindly, I will do it. If you demand me to do it,
Yeah.
even though it needs done, I'll probably be like this.
and you'll be stubborn about it.
Right.
100%.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, and when you have to know who you're fucking with. You know what I mean? Like, you got to know what kind of person you're really, you know, if you see them react certain ways, like, I don't like when people talk to me that way, but you're going to do it to them. Like,
Yeah.
that's probably going to end very horribly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I thought about that notebook and I was like, man, could this work?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's worth a shot.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because, like,
See, my problem is they would like write me something and I'd be like, all right, listen,
I read
you
that.
can't break the rule. That's the rule,
I am
though.
not writing back.
Just be like, nah. Is that with an H or a W? Both.
H.
No.
Right.
H.
Yeah, an H.
I don't know. I feel like communication falls short on the receiving end. Everybody wants to focus on how to communicate their thoughts and feelings. That's what like I statements are about. Do you know what an I statement is? Like,
No.
I feel blank.
I mean, I've heard this a
when
little bit.
blank.
Let's talk about
Okay.
this.
Yeah.
Let's define this shit.
So I feel defensive when people talk to me about my drinking. But like it or I
Me too.
feel, right. I feel unappreciated when I come home after work and there's dishes in the sink.
So is this a set of saying you?
Well, the point is to take accountability for your feelings because I can't make you feel shit.
So it's better than saying when you
Yeah.
do this.
When you don't do the dishes, it pisses me off.
No.
No. No.
I like that.
I feel unappreciated when I come home after work and there's dishes in the sink. I don't care if you do them or if my
You want us to show up at your
five
house to do
children
dishes?
them.
Allie's like, I signed him to do a podcast, not to do her fucking dishes. She seems nice and all, but
I've
fuck
got
that.
dishes at home.
The
Do you?
point
I do.
is that regardless of who would do this action, you would probably feel the same.
Yeah.
So everybody in therapy wants to focus on like I statements. Well, I statements are great if the other person's listening and like open to it.
Do you think everybody keeps score? Most people keep score. Be
Everybody
like, yes, you
has
want
a
this,
ledger.
but I want
Come on.
this.
Right, yeah.
Man, see, that's my detachment thing again. I don't care. I just want the problem to go away. I
Right.
don't care. I seriously, you leave some shit out, I'm gonna pick it up. I don't care. But eventually, I'm just gonna be like, all right, come on,
Yeah.
like, come on. I'm just gonna throw it in the trash.
I feel like that would over time though build up.
Not bad for me.
Resentment.
No, because
Really?
if you're cool in other ways,
Tom is sure like a unicorn.
no. But here's the thing. I just don't like problems. So if you can do it, if you say you left something out on the counter, like you make coffee every morning, and every day you kind of spilled some, and you're just like you're in a rush because you
Sure.
were doing your makeup and you just took whatever. I don't care. I wouldn't be that mad. You know what I mean? Like big messes or big crazy shit. Like, no, I'm not doing that shit.
Sure.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I don't live that way. But little things, I'm just like this. Just keep it moving. Because if you do other things that are super dope and super nice and fun, like, that's the easiest thing I can do is take a thing and wipe it. I'm not gonna be like, what? You can't even like.
Yeah.
I've been through major shit in relationships. Not to be a dick, little things. I just efficient.
Well, maybe they're doing those things for you too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you
And I'm
just
sure there
kinda-
is. You know what I mean? I'm sure, I try to take care of my shit pretty well, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be mad all the time. Like I say it all the time. I've almost died so many times that the last thing I want to do is waste any of my life.
45 seconds being mad. Yeah.
Because I'm just like this. If I love you, I just want to love you. That's
Yeah.
you. I want to love you. Now, if you're doing some dastardly shit like, girl, seriously, you're going to get a DUI, you're going to do some dumb shit, and I can't, you're going to jeopardize our life.
Yeah.
Or your own life. But, like, even then, like, I can't have you messing with all this. But other than that, like, trivial little shit. Like, if your guy's messy, that motherfucker was messy when you met him.
Right.
He didn't suddenly like, oh my God, he has a perfect apartment. And then you're like, what the hell, frat boy?
Right.
Right? Like you knew.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
not the first night.
probably not.
Some people clean up.
Come on, they don't clean up that good.
Sometimes.
Oh, so I had a girl. She went on a date and she said, I went over there and his bathroom was disgusting. And I walked out and goes, you knew I was coming over here.
Absolutely.
Like you think he's like, what?
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm a
Especially a
grown-ass
bathroom.
woman.
Especially a bathroom because he knows she's going to use
Come
it
on.
at some point.
Come on.
My bathroom's always number one when people are coming
Yep.
over.
Yeah,
Bathroom and kitchen.
for real.
Heck yeah.
You know, normal stuff. And I was just like, damn. So I think for me, I just can't get caught up in some corny shit because it's like, I don't want to waste I just don't.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather just keep it moving. And I know other
fair.
people, but that's my weird detachment where I'm just like,
You know, touching base on you talking, which I don't know what your situation is, but like traumatic events that like were life threatening or whatever. I've been through 2 serious accidents where I probably shouldn't have. And I feel like that numbs
Changes you a
me
little
out
bit.
a lot.
yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I had stage 3 cancer. I had a motorcycle accident. I've had some other shit too. Those will like,
Yeah.
it just reminded
Rattle
me
ya.
even more like, fuck it, man.
Well, when you realize how much petty things people are caught up in.
And it's not petty to them. I understand it's not petty to them, but like, it just doesn't register.
You don't have it, yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like a magnet and it's not magnetic. You know what I mean? They're like, it's all this stuff down here. I'm like, it won't pick it up. It won't. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it. Like, is that the
That was
easiest?
good.
Like, it's like,
That's
but
a great
there's all this
analogy.
stuff. And I'm like, my magnet is not working. And I want to be the best man I can be. And I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere near it. But damn it, I can't only do, like, I can only feel so much. But then, you know, if I do get emotional about something, they're like, why are you making a big deal out of this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
You have wanted me to care for the last 6 months.
but if I care about something, you're going to tell me why I'm wrong.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just not into that. And you
Yeah.
don't have to tell me I'm right. You could go, I hear you. I'll work on it.
Sure.
Or kick rocks. I want one of those answers,
Yeah.
you know, and the kick rocks thing's never. It's like, I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing this shit. And I'm like, okay, but what's changed? So am I supposed to feel better about it, or are you going to kind of curb it a little bit? And that's where it gets
Yeah.
kind of weird.
I think it goes back to what she was saying, though, with people being a whole.
Most people
Like,
aren't.
they're not, which makes me sad. I feel
Yeah.
like
I mean, some people are whole, but it's a different kind of thing. I'm just saying.
it's a black hole.
Yeah, it's more like a catch-all.
I feel like when people are whole, though, and are genuinely happy with themselves, that you don't run into situations like that.
Not nearly like as much.
But
And
whole-
I can be transparent enough to say that I've never been, and I'm in that process, and I feel like my picker is much better.
Oh, that's good.
But
growing.
yeah,
The picker's hard sometimes.
yeah,
Sometimes you want the fancy car, but it's a pain in the ass,
yeah.
you know? But you don't know because people put up that front, you know? And we do change. Even, you know, just life happens while you're dating somebody and shit changes. You could hear I've heard one comment and it made me like change the way I think about something, you know, very much. And it's scary, you know, but like dancing with other people, that whole dance of a relationship, we're not given good tools to even remotely maneuver through it. We don't talk about it. The more I talk about people, like I ask people questions, the same question over and over to everybody because I want to take in that data and I want to see where it all fits. And half the time, it's such bullshit. Like it's people. I mean, it's like I literally am like,
Yeah.
you want a good relationship, but you can't even define what that even fucking means. Like that's like saying I want to build a house. What kind of house? Yeah, just a house.
Something to live in.
Yeah.
Like you could never get a house built if you can't do that. So what makes you think you can even remotely have a healthy relationship when you don't even know what that
is.
means?
I always compare it to like a kid that wants a puppy,
Yeah.
and their parents like, okay, but you're gonna have to walk him, and they're like, yeah, well, I'll figure it out.
I walk. How
Like,
hard is walking?
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like you need to figure it out first, then you get the
Do your
puppy.
research.
It's
Yeah.
hard
What breed
though.
do you want?
Right?
It's-
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want one
You
that
got
you're
a
gonna have
lot
to
of
brush a
energy.
lot?
Yeah. I've
A
had
lot
people
of
like
maintenance.
Do you want a bigger
Right. A
puppy?
mellow dog.
right.
One, how big is your house? You got a lot of room? Teeny tiny little studio.
But we make decisions based on wants versus needs, or even just we're just
Or
selfish
potential.
assholes.
A lot of people make decisions off of potential.
What do you mean by that?
Well, you know, I'm going to date this guy and yeah, he has these things, but we're 22. He'll grow up. He'll
Yes.
settle down. Once
Yeah.
we become serious, he's obviously not going to do these things, which could be true. A lot of people settle down, and some people don't.
They outgrow it, or they
Yeah,
I
right.
had a young lady. She's been with the same boy since she was 15, and they're in their early 20s. She's in nursing school, and she's killing it. And he's
He's
just
not
home playing
killing
games,
it?
video
That's
games.
sad.
You know what I mean? And she could tell, she's like, but I love him. You know what I mean? And I'm just
she
like,
does.
and I go, well, hopefully he'll outgrow it. You know what I mean? And
Right, yeah.
hopefully you got to be patient with him or not. I mean, that's as simple as it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to.
You know, some people have a hard time. Like video games seems to be a hard thing for a lot of people. Do you hear that a lot?
Yeah.
I don't play
I
video
despise
games.
them.
I'm a pinball guy,
Mm-hmm.
so you can only do that for so long.
That's true. Right.
You know, I'm pretty good at it. I can play for a while, but I'm not a video games guy, so I don't understand it. But I do play a lot of guitar, and I do stuff like that. And I ask people, I go, so if you play guitar, would that bother you? No. And I'm like, well, why? Well, that's different. I go, no, just tell me why that's different, because, well, that's doing something. I'm like, not really. I mean,
Yeah.
it isn't. You know what I mean? But I'm like, is it the attention thing? Because I asked that girl the other
That's what
day,
it
I
is.
said, is it the attention? Like you would rather you feel like he's not paying attention? She goes, well, yeah. And I go, I have a hard time understanding that because I'm not wired that way. If I'm in the same room with you and you're doing something, whatever in the hell you're doing, I'm not annoyed by you because I know what it means to go, I got to get this out of me. I got to go do this or whatever in the hell I'm doing. You know, but the same girl probably sits on TikTok for 3 hours. So not to be an asshole,
Yeah.
what's the difference? Nothing.
I don't think there is.
So how much attention? Why do you think people strive for attention? So what does attention mean? Like if you're sitting there on the couch and you're cuddling and you're kind of just rubbing each other's back and it's sweet and everything, but that doesn't happen all the time.
Sure.
That's attention.
Right.
If I'm sitting next to you on a couch and you're watching a show that I don't have any interest in because my attention span for shows is not very good, and I'm sitting on my phone looking at guitars, is that taken away from you?
No.
I wouldn't think so. Well, I guess it depends. So in my clinical brain, attention and like engagement are the same thing, right? So like
But when you're watching a movie together, are you really engaging?
you could be.
If you're cuddling,
And right, if there's physical connection, if you're rubbing my leg or playing with my hair or vice
well, maybe
versa.
I should have done that more. I mean, honestly, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's a
Because then you're
hard.
still present. You're still engaged in it. But yeah, if you're on this end of the couch looking at guitars and she's on this end of the couch watching her movie, and like
Yeah,
that would create some distance.
I think it's a new design on couches where there's those little things in between. You know, with the cup holders and shit. I'm getting rid of that couch.
Yeah.
I'm gonna sell it.
I wouldn't have never bought that couch. I've been cuddling.
I don't know why I did. Well, I have a normal couch and I have a love seat that has that. It
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah.
be called a love seat. It should be called a fall out of love seat.
We went to the movies the other day and realized that the thing goes up.
Oh shit!
It was fantastic.
Second base.
Have you ever gone to the movies and gotten one of the recliners that like
That's
yeah,
what-
but the
we
ones
had-
that are like loud?
No.
Oh,
Like
it wasn't
everyone-
loud.
What? They're like.
Me and my friend went to the movies a few months ago, and yeah, she was like leaning back, and it was like
Really?
middle of the
No,
movie.
so these ones were recliners. We both went back, and then there was like a cup holder thing, and it moved.
Oh,
That's
So I
cute.
got to like curl up.
That's nice.
It was nice.
Right. Hopefully they sterilize those things when y'all are
I
done.
hope so.
Just saying. So the attention thing, that's a hard thing for people.
Yes.
don't you think though that if people are kind of like what we were talking about earlier tonight, like if you're content with hobbies and things that you do, they should have theirs, and like that's healthy.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
it shouldn't bother you. Like if you like playing guitar and I love to read, like you should be able to do that and I can do this and we're cool.
Right.
But I think that that's two healthy people.
That's hard to do.
Yeah. When usually I find that people, even the healthiest of couples, can do that well when there's a balance and it's intentional.
Yeah.
So, if you're going to the studio on Tuesday and you know that, then you would in your head plan to read on Tuesday, because Wednesday night you'll be home. So Wednesday night you're not going to
Yeah.
read because you guys are going to
Right.
watch a movie or make dinner or put together a puzzle or like whatever it is.
More like planned out.
Yeah.
I feel like my problem is I have a ton of hobbies. Like I love to work out, I love to read, I like music. There's all types of things I do. If I start dating a lot of times, and it's not their fault, but I just become available. And then what happens is a month goes by and then I'm like, shit, I haven't read in like 2 weeks. I haven't worked out. I haven't done X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. Like
You break
that's
from your...
one thing I hate. Yeah, and it's not their fault. Like they don't
No,
need
you're
me.
excited.
Yeah.
How do you...
It's like a shiny
That's
new
a hard
hobby.
thing to curb,
But then you
huh?
kind of like start losing yourself.
Uh-huh. Well, and then you pull back and start doing all
You get
these things, and
resentful.
then they're like,
Yeah, then you hate
well,
them.
I would imagine then they're like, you are always busy. Like,
Yeah.
what happened? And you're like, well, actually, this is
Yeah.
this
see.
is my norm.
Me, on the other hand. But I don't know how to
You
not...
go out with somebody and you're like, I am free on July 3rd.
Yeah, that's
I'll
it.
see.
I mean, I've had
Is that
6
when-
days off since the beginning of the year. 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't mind making time, but in the same breath, but when I feel like there's moments I feel like I want to be creative and I want to work on something. And maybe I'm not doing a good enough job when I do have the free time to make somebody feel comfortable enough. I don't know. Maybe it's insufferable. I don't know because I'm not in her head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the time. You know what I mean? But I probably definitely could have done. I mean, we all could do a better job at times. You know what I mean? And I've learned a lot through breakups and things like that. To like, you know what? Just put your phone down. Enjoy your time. You know, I've had the last like 4 months to really think about shit of what I could do better and what I'm okay with.
Yeah.
And I feel like I probably should have, well, I could just definitely improve on some things. You know what I mean? And that's the hardest thing sometimes because you're like, fuck, that would have been easy.
Yeah.
You know? And it's difficult, because somebody else's perception of what you're giving them isn't always
What they're getting.
like I can only give you so much. You know what I mean? Like there's no like my magnet's not doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know how you talk about that and like for someone to accept it.
Yeah.
Because it's still like, no, this is that simple. I told you what I needed, and I'm like, well, I don't know how to.
Can't?
I don't know. I don't like saying I can't.
Right. Well, I guess
That means
that's
I'm defeated.
right. I guess that's what I'm going back to, like the communication in my head though, because it's not that cliche, really. Like if you guys are sitting on the same couch, if she said to you like, "Hey babe, can you put your phone down and just
Right.
be with me?" That was probably, I mean, I guess potentially difficult for her to say.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then for you to hear that and not get defensive or not think that she's being dramatic and really to
That wouldn't
listen.
freak me out that bad.
But like that's the other half of it is
Yeah.
is to hear what somebody's saying and not be like, "Oh, well you blah blah blah." Like, "Okay, so you need me now." Like, "You got it." Or
Yeah.
to rebuttal and say like, "I hear you. I have to finish this email. Give me 1 second." And you
Yeah.
finish the email and then you hear her and you put it down.
And I don't know if it's kind of just a nervous kind of, not a nervous thing, but like
It's a fidget.
yeah.
That's what it is.
It's hard for me to shut my brain down.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard, and I'm trying to figure it out. Like I've taken a lot more time, especially like I said in the last 4 months, to like,
Be mindful.
yeah, I
To just be.
yeah, I've
You should go on
curbed
a retreat.
a lot. Yeah, I don't know if you heard that 6 days off since the beginning of the year. I should probably definitely go on a retreat. I took a long drive down in North Carolina last weekend, and that was a lot of time in my car alone. Just me. So that was like 16 hours in the car by myself there and back. And it was good for me. I felt like it was good. It was a long trip because I did it in like 24 hours, and it was good. And I needed it, because I wasn't talking on the phone.
I was just going to ask. You weren't on your phone. You were.
Well, I couldn't be.
Were you trying? Well, yeah.
West Virginia
down in the-
Turnpike
yeah.
and texting is probably a bad idea. It was
Right.
pouring down the rain on the way down, so I really couldn't. I think
Yeah.
on the way home I might have had a conversation, but it was a good conversation to have. So it wasn't bad. But that alone time is something I needed because I'm go from early in the morning all day. And sometimes I do need to like...
What time do you start your day?
I get up at around 5 a.m., make sure my daughter's up and get her ready for school. I mean, she's getting herself ready. She's 17. And then I start work at 9, and then I work, and I usually go pick her up from school, and then I go back to work for a little bit.
One thing that honestly has changed my life was like a year ago. I normally take my first client at 10, and I don't have kids. So like I am lucky in that way that, well,
Right.
that sounds bad, but you know what I mean?
It's okay.
I have
Right there with you.
Yeah.
like a
They're little
house of
parasites.
space. I'm not married, whatever.
Yeah.
But I started waking up between like 5 and 6, and I spend 2 hours working out, reading, journaling, drinking coffee, whatever I want to do. And I've never have done that before because typically I would get up when I needed to get up and I'd get in the shower and my day starts.
Oh.
But having that time to myself,
See, I get that. I drop her
literally
off.
my whole day,
Yeah.
day-to-day life has completely changed.
So I get her off to school and I get back home. I work out. I eat. I take a shower and go to, you know what I mean? I watch some guitar YouTube videos, you know, and stuff like that. So I do have that like hour that I do that in. You know what I mean? So that is helpful.
Yeah.
And I feel better when I like go to work.
Yeah.
You know, even today, like I got up early because I had a show last night and, you know, I was a little tired and I had to be at work at 9. So I didn't work out this morning. Hell, I even forgot to make coffee this morning.
That's the worst.
Yeah. And I was like, I had a headache after I got done tattooing and I was like,
What am I
shit,
missing?
Major
drink any
caffeine
Water,
coffee.
withdrawal.
food, caffeine.
Yeah. So that threw me off. So when I got home today, I worked out for a little bit and then I mowed the grass and stuff and all that. So I felt much better, even just working out a little bit and feeling better about that. And it is that routine. It is helpful. You know what I mean? And even at nighttime, I'm trying to like stay off my phone. I have to do stuff for this show on my phone. And that's been a new thing for the last, 7 weeks. And that's a different thing for me that I'm not used to as well.
Yeah.
Like it doubled down on like my computer time and I was like, ugh. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to like, these are the days you're allowed to
Budget
do it.
Right.
And then, dude, just stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, it's hard to be disciplined about that because I'm trying to grow this thing and make it, successful. But we make a lot of excuses why we do shit. Like people are like, I learned stuff on TikTok. I'm like, but do you actually apply it?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
you got to apply it a little bit. And that's kind of crazy.
TikTok does have good meal prep ideas.
They have, dude,
TikTok
I do
has a lot
construction
of
stuff
great
on the
things.
side. And I learned all this cool, like, construction stuff. And the buddy I do construction stuff with on the side for fun, he's professional for sure. And I'll send him, like, these little hacks. He's like, that's great. We buy these tools off there. It's like, it sucks you in.
Yeah.
Man, it's super good for sure. But it does help to have some sort of routine. Get up, get after it. You know what I mean? And it makes me feel much better when I am disciplined that way.
I'm not a morning person.
You're not?
No.
I love the
I
mornings.
sleep until I like must get out of my bed.
Really?
I have multiple alarms. I'm the worst.
Yeah.
I do. I turn them all off. I snooze through all of them. I rush out of the house. But I'm a night owl. So like all my kids go to bed and that's when
That's your
like,
free time.
That is
Yeah.
my free time that I decompress and I'll read. I drink coffee at night. So I usually have like
Holy
a
shit.
cup of I do. I have a cup
No.
of coffee.
I can go to my Italian friend's house. We usually have dinner on, on Sunday, and they'll have a cup of coffee, and I'm okay with that. But past that, hell no. No.
It's my ADHD.
Yeah.
Just brings me back to like normal people's
Does
baseline.
it?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. I can
don't
drink
think
it in
I
the
have
morning
that.
and it perks me up, and then I drink it at night and it like puts me to sleep.
Has your job affected your personal life much?
No,
You're lucky.
I don't think so.
No. Are most of your clients female?
Yes.
Yeah, that's probably why.
That is one interesting thing. Like anytime I'm dating someone new, they'll be like, "So do you cut guys' hair?"
They really
and I
ask that?
instantly know they're asking me that because of
You're like,
you know.
no, we just make out.
Right.
Like-
They just bring me coffee. I don't cut their hair.
That's it. Yeah, it's just sex. There's no hair
Yep.
cutting at all.
Yep.
Why would that be a question? If you ask, you know what I mean? Like immediately when a guy asks that, are you like this? Check.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
out.
not necessarily.
You probably
I don't know.
should.
I just say no.
You probably
You're
should.
trying to give them a shot.
Because I mean,
Should be a red flag.
do you
maybe.
think it would be problematic now that you look back and like put whoever asked you that question?
If I said yeah, I did.
No, what I'm saying is
if you
the
did,
guys who have
would
asked,
they have minded?
Oh,
yeah. So like the guys who have asked you that question, looking back, have they been very jealous types?
not extremely, but I'm sure if
What's
I
extreme?
like on a scale 7, I don't know,
Right, there you
6.
Not
That's-
slashing your tires, but like
Right.
also
yeah.
going through your phone maybe.
I feel like it would bug them maybe.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. But to be honest with you, regardless, aside from all that, I'd much rather work with females.
Yeah.
I like the convo.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I have both.
You don't have a preference?
To tattoo?
Yeah.
Oh, just
If you had to
nice
spend 3
people.
hours with somebody?
Nah, just nice people. Nice people with good skin. I'm in. That's the bonus.
What's bad skin?
We have questions.
Skin that's not as taut as it needs to be. There's some skin issues. I mean, there are some skin issues that are harder to tattoo, but most
Dirty
people.
skin, oily skin, wrinkly skin.
Wrinkly skin can be a problem. Super, like some people have very paper thin skin, like older people have that.
Yeah.
That can be a problem. And some people just don't sit well, but most people are pretty good. But most skin's pretty workable.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a tattoo.
No,
You don't have
You're one
any
of them?
tattoos?
No.
Dang, that's awesome.
Isn't that wild?
I would take
That's
all
wild.
mine off if I could.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it'd be funny as shit. You know what I mean? Just like,
be
oh,
ironic,
this tattoo artist
right?
has no tattoos.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious. And I don't know. Tattooing has been my entire life, and I kind of don't like how it defines me. It has been my entire life since I was 14 years old. And I've wanted a tattoo since I was 5. So it literally has been my entire direction.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's helped my life greatly, but it also feels like I don't want that to be the version of me that people see. Because a lot
The
of bad
only
things come
version?
with that.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, he's a tattoo artist. What the fuck's that mean?
Yeah, but that's
It's
not
changed.
your problem.
It
that's
has
them.
changed. I know, but it becomes your problem when you.
You know, I get that from doing hair.
I'm sure.
I cannot stand it. And it's
So
like,
you know
no
what I'm saying.
offense, but it's always men. That's like, oh, so you cut hair? And I'm like, no, I color it. I style it. I run my own,
Right.
gig.
Yeah.
Well, hairstylists are like tattoo artists. You guys are known to be a little crazy.
Well,
We talked about hairstylists the other day, and I said, dude, hairstylists are badass women because they're like the female tattoo artists. I mean, there's female tattoo artists too, but I'm saying like you
Right.
guys have to go in there, pull something magic out of your ass every day with every client. Like,
Yeah.
people don't understand like the creative side of that. Because people are like, do you draw at home? I was like, fuck, no, not anymore. You know what I mean? Because it's like if my kid's like, Dad, draw me, and I'll draw with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But like, no.
well, that, and I think tattooing and hair has changed in the way that, like, it's not just slapping color on someone's head.
It's
Like,
art.
there's balayage and ombre and foils and
Hey, I know what
caps
all
and-
that is, by the
Yeah.
way.
I'm sure you don't.
I do.
Right.
I know what all that is. I'm
But-
just a dumb boy.
Yeah, I mean, it's a artistic.
It takes a lot out of you. People don't realize that, man.
Just the same as I couldn't go in and tattoo somebody. A lot of people couldn't just come in and do what I
Right.
do
Hell
either.
no.
Right.
Hell no.
Yeah.
But when you have clients that just walk in and you don't know what you're doing that day, because that's most of your days, right? You don't
Yeah.
know what you're doing because people can change their mind. Even if they made an appointment to do this and they're like, I'm thinking more of this. And you're like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So every day is like that for me. And I think that creative side for me, it's draining some days because you're just like, I have to do it every day. I've had people come in and go, hey, I want to learn how to tattoo. And I'm like, okay, so what do you know about tattoo? And they're like, well, I need to know it's cool. And I'm like, that's not a good start. But then I'll look through their art portfolio and I'm like, well, do you have anything that you draw like tattoos? Why this is the kind of stuff I want to do? And I was like, well, it doesn't really work that way. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll go, have you ever had days that you're not inspired to draw? And they're like, yeah, all the time. And I was like, you're going to hate your life because you have to be inspired every time. You have to be inspired by a client every time.
Yeah.
I have to be inspired by a client. I don't think most people have jobs that they have to do that.
Right.
No.
And I think the intensity of those things, most people cannot wrap their head around. And I think when you're dating somebody, they don't know what they're fucking with. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a weird little, like, Harry Potter
Pocket,
spell. That's
yeah.
like, oh, that's pretty. That's cool. What the hell? You know what I mean? Because I'm sure you apply that same thing to most things in your life.
Yeah.
What are you not good at problem solving? You know what I mean? Because you have to solve problems all day.
Yeah.
So you probably take that
You
home.
just know how to make things work.
You have to.
Yeah.
You can't. Your client is not going to leave half done.
You know, that's one thing I've noticed about dating too. So I mean, I work for myself. I schedule myself, and like, let's say I'm going out to dinner with somebody, and I have a client coming in at 5. I don't know if they're getting a root touch up, a full head of highlights. Maybe they're new, and I don't know if
Good.
they have super thin hair or hair down to their butt crack. You know.
Right, yeah.
So they'll be like, all right, well, you want to go to dinner at 7? I'm like, it could be 7, it could be 9. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Could be
well,
not tonight.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Text you when I'm done.
How do people react to that?
Not good, honestly.
So listen, this is my life story.
Okay.
What time are you going to be done? My last one's at 4.
Yeah.
But what time are you going to be done? My last one's at 4. But I mean, roughly, like, what time do you? And I'm like, my last one's at. And sometimes I'd be like, it's supposed to be something small. That doesn't mean they're going to agree on it. That doesn't mean I don't have to redraw it 50 times. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean they're not going to pass out. I swear, every time I've tried to squeeze someone in, like, I'm going to squeeze this person in because they just want something small, they will fucking pass out. And I'll just sit there like this.
Like 7 hours later.
I'm not joking. Almost every time, to the point where I'm like,
the orange juice.
Cold compress on the back of the neck. It's every time like that. But like, they can't understand, like, well, you make your own schedule. I'm like, no. I make when they come in. Well, you can just tell them you're done. I was like, do you know how this shit works?
Yeah.
It's frustrating because I understand because they want to feel important. That's my next question. Why do people set things up to prove how important they are?
Oh.
Why do they do
Where
this?
they bait them?
They're like, they'll set up a scenario that you have to give up something you enjoy to do just to prove to them, I should be the most important thing in your life. And I have a hard time understanding that. And this is where I'm like struggling lately because I'm like, everybody's important that are in my life. Like, everybody that's in my life is important. How do I measure somebody more important than someone else? That is against everything that I feel my entire life. And I've really been, like, this last week has been heavy on me. Like, Thomas, have you ever made somebody feel more important than someone else? What does that even fucking mean? Like, how do you even measure that? Like, I'm going through the whole, like, it's like that board with all the string everywhere. Like, well, this is this and this is this. Because I don't want to keep making somebody feel not important. But is that a thing that it's like impossible to make somebody fucking feel important all the time? Because how do you fucking do that? You stop working out and stop fucking playing your ukulele and, quit hanging out with your friends and like, and then even then they're like, you're up my ass. It's like, fuck, what do you want?
Yeah.
So I'm at like, what is this? Why do we feel that we have to do that to somebody, or we always have to test that? Because I literally feel like it's that thing.
I feel like you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't test people, but we do it all the time. In multiple situations.
Yeah.
I just had a conversation the other day because one of my personal practices is I try not to ask a question that I know the answer to.
That's cute.
What?
No, I'm saying like if only most people.
Lying is a big trigger to me. I don't like to be lied to.
Fair enough. Don't ask questions you don't want to be lied to about, right?
And so my husband and I have a situation, I guess, or a rule that like I have told him, I don't want you to lie to me, and he's in recovery, so he doesn't lie. Like that is like
that's his route.
That's his route. He has to be honest
for his sobriety
100% of the time. So when we started dating, was like, if I don't want to tell you the answer, I'm just going to tell you I don't want to talk about it.
You're allowed to put a lid on it.
He is. He's like, I will just tell you, like, I don't feel comfortable talking about that, or like, I rather not answer.
And you're okay with that?
Yeah.
Or you've worked through that?
No. Because
I just imagine saying that to a woman, and it does not fucking end well.
It'd make me fancy.
100% of the time, it has to do with...
her face, she's like, no bueno.
100% of the time that he has said that to me, it has to do with his past.
Okay.
Oh.
It's not our present.
Oh, that's another thing I just heard this week too. I got to bring that up. Go ahead. I'm going to let you finish.
But we test people. So like me with my husband, me with my friends, my parents, my kids. If I know the answer, I'm not asking a question.
Right.
I'm going to say, I know that you did this and I want to talk about it. I'm not going to say, did you do this? To like give you the opportunity to come clean. Like,
yeah, we talked about that
immature.
before. That's gross.
That's gross. I feel like this is the same. So I know that you have this thing on Saturday, but I also have this thing on Saturday. Which are you picking? That's gross. That's
I don't want to do that.
Right. That is also
and
gross.
I don't want to make you do that.
Right.
Like if I ask you to dinner, like if I'm going, hey, I'm going to go do this. Do you want to go? And you're like, no, I just want to stay home and read. I'd be like, cool. But am I that weird that I'm not like offended? Like, well, she doesn't really want to be with me. Like,
no,
she does
maybe
want
it
to.
just means that you're content with
I don't want to make you do
yourself.
something you don't want to do.
Yeah.
Right.
That just is gross to me. Like, because I don't want that done to me. I mean, literally, that's the last thing I want done. Like, I don't want to go do things. And sometimes I do have to make myself uncomfortable to go do things. You know what I mean? To get out of that, like, regimented kind of, you know, weirdly on the spectrum way that I live sometimes.
Sheldon.
Yeah. But I do have to force myself to, like, hey, be uncomfortable in a social situation that you really aren't, you know. But if I have you next to me, I'll probably have a pretty good shot at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And once I get there, it gets better. You know what I mean? I calm down, or I go, hey, can we go? Or can I go?
Tried.
And I don't like this.
I'll call you. You call me when you're done.
I'll pick
come
you
back
up.
and I'll pick you up. Yep.
You know? So I kind of stress out with that a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that whole thing. Like, I just want to know that I'm the most important thing in your life. That statement alone to me. Like. But that you hear that all the time.
It's a red flag.
But that's what you hear, literally. I've
never heard that.
Because you're a therapist, guys can't fuck with you. They're like this, like, nah, that girl's a ninja. I'm not even.
As soon as they would say that to me, I would have I have thoughts.
You're pushing them down the stairs.
Let's talk about it. I have 5 children, 3 careers. You will never be the most important thing.
But what does it even mean to be the most important thing? And because I don't want to
You'll
feel
be
like I
one
let a
of them?
woman down, because I don't like failing. Okay, I don't. So that fucks me up, because I'm just like, Thomas, can you do? I'm sure I could do a better job at it, but like, what does that even fucking mean?
I feel like that's two-sided. So I guess my opinion would be that if you might need to grow a little in prioritizing someone else alongside with all of your other stuff like that.
Well, I do that.
Sure.
I'm not tooting my own horn, but I do
Right.
reasonably do that.
Yeah.
I'm very thoughtful about shit like that. But in
Sure.
the same breath, it's like,
Well, the other side of that is she has to understand that she is one of many priorities. If you put her first 100% of the time,
nothing would get done.
No, you own your own business.
Yeah,
You're in multiple bands.
couple.
You're over here crushing it. If you just put all of that to the side, like that's not realistic.
Well, then
either.
I'm going to be resentful, and I'm going to just
Sure.
feel like less of a human to myself.
And I feel like you probably do a decent job in including them. If you're
I
playing,
try.
come.
Yeah, and that gets weird. That's a
Right,
whole
sure.
fucking other show. Let me tell you, that shit gets gross. Oof, girls drinking with their friends and fucking getting mad while you're up there playing. That's a whole nother fucking show. I could do a fucking
Do
season.
a spin-off.
Oh my god, man. I've dated girls back in the day that they're like, how come you never invite me to shows? I'm like, because you're a pain in my ass. I don't say it like that, but I'm just like, because every time
wouldn't
you
go
come,
well.
you're drunk and you're shitty, and I'm getting paid to be here, and then I feel like a dick because I'm dragging your drunk ass out of the bar. I paid more for a bar tab than I made tonight. Like, it just becomes a problem. So, like, no, I don't want you to come because I really just want to play guitar with my friends and, like, have a really great night. I'm not there to be a drunk. I'm not there to pick up girls. I'm not there to do anything but play music. And now I got to babysit. I'd be like me coming to your job and hanging out and getting blackout drunk.
Now that this is getting brought up, though, I feel like I need to make a confession.
Uh-oh, were you that girl? Holy sh... I'm out. Were you?
Well, so my ex was in a band.
Jesus.
But
I don't know who I'm more sorry for.
I also, in my defense,
Oh, shit.
first off, I stopped going to shows. Like, I didn't even want to be part of it. I never wanted to be asked after, like, the 5th one. But we also had a very unhealthy relationship, and he was not to throw him under the bus, but I guess I will.
She's like, hold on.
Since the bus is coming, right?
She'll back that shit right on top of you. Son.
Yeah, he didn't really, like, handle that situation responsibly, along with everything else in life, like paying for dinner when we went out to eat, living in my house for free. So there was a lot of responsibility things that were lacking. You know what I mean?
And
so
this was just another one.
yeah, and I would find myself in that scenario pissed.
Just mad.
Yeah, but
Not only
Because
just
you're like,
pissed,
you're
but
coming back to my house where you don't pay bills.
yeah, at like 4:00 in the morning,
And entertaining.
Wasted.
Yeah.
And I would always end up being the one at the show that kind of stayed sober, so I like could navigate the rest of the evening, you know? So
I was on the other end of that.
yeah.
And not all of them, but there's been a few that I was just like, you are problematic as shit. You know, like, why is that girl staring at you? I ask her. Like, I'm on stage. What do you want them to look at? Their feet? This isn't an Amish concert. What the fuck do you want them? You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
And I'm playing. Like, I don't know. If that makes you uncomfortable, don't come to the shows. Well, then I don't know what's going on. I'm like, well, you know what's going on and you're still mad. I'm confused. Like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
I know I play. I pack up my shit very neatly. I put it in my vehicle and I come back here and unload it. And I usually stop and get a milkshake on the way home. That's what I do.
You know, I think it's a tricky situation because I think no matter what, you're going to run into jealousy with that.
Yeah.
But I often wonder in my relationship if things were handled more responsibly, not just in the band, just in life in general.
Yes.
If I would have been way more accepting of
Secure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a hard thing for some people.
Because there was couples that were in that, well, there was husbands that were in that band and they had an awesome relationship and their wives would like come to the show and they didn't care what was going. They didn't even like go up by the stage. Like they were like in the back having a good time. And I almost found myself envious of them because I'm like, I want to be like, you know what I mean?
She's so cool about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard for me. And not every girl's been like that. You know what I mean? But it causes a little bit of problems here and there. And I don't want it to be a problem because to me, it's working. I'm going to work. Yes, am I having a good time and I get to drink a little bit of whiskey and it's cool. Not all shows, but like some shows, like last night I got to play, drink a couple glasses of whiskey. But I just sit and play. Like even between sets, I don't even go out and talk to people. I just sit up there and pretend like I'm tuning my guitar for 2 hours. I'm not joking. Like I'm so awkward with fucking people that are drunk screaming in my ear and touch. I'm just like, why are you?
Yeah.
You're too close. Like, so I stay up on stage. My best friend goes, I didn't realize it doesn't take that long to tune guitars as you're up there. Like, why are you tuning the same 3 guitars the entire break? And I'm like, yeah, I'm avoiding people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's frustrating for me. And like I said, not every girl is like that, but it's been very frustrating for me. Like, well, you're around all these girls. And I'm like, I'm on stage, dude. Like, I don't know if you know this, but we don't run that kind of show. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not Marilyn Manson in the 90s. Right. We're not doing some crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty standard shit. I'm pretty busy. I'm playing 50-some songs a night. I don't really have a lot of time to be, catching digits. Like, I'm not out doing shots with people, but I'm not out doing shots. Like, I've played in bands with guys that are out there. That's their social night.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's why they're there. They like to play, but they're being very social. But you dated a guy in a band, so I'm sure he was being a little more social than you would have preferred.
Yeah. I don't, it wasn't so much that he was social. I feel like there was things that would happen that like he probably should have navigated away from or handled
I've had to work
differently.
on that. I've had to worry about that because I've had people that are real touchy and grabby, and I'm used to it. And I'm not comfortable with it, but I don't take it as like them being that way. And I was with a girl that was she did not like that, man. And it was a bad night. And I was like, I'm sorry. And I tried to work through that. And it was just a sore spot for her. And I feel bad for her because some people are just touchy-feely people. She didn't understand that. And that's okay. She doesn't have to understand that. I understand her point. You know what I mean? She didn't like that. And I was like, and I moved over, but it was too fucking late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But she was mad at me. And I was like, I won't let it happen again. But it's like it sucks because I can't undo it.
Yeah.
I don't have a time machine. You know what I mean?
I think that's a hard situation though too because they can never be in your situation to understand how you feel.
Right.
Which reflecting back on that relationship, him and I actually had a band together after, and I loved it. I loved to sing and stuff, but there was a lot of situations where men would come up to me and say certain things. I mean, I wasn't like mad or happy, but it was kind of a like reality flash for me that it wasn't something I was egging on or wanted, but it was happening.
Just your sheer existence.
And it didn't affect how I felt about him or, you know what I mean? It came with the territory. So I guess I kind of saw it from his perspective in certain situations.
People want to act like they know you. They come to your shows. There's a lot of people that have come to my shows over the years who think they know something about me, but they don't know anything about me. Nothing, literally, other than that's what he does. Mm-hmm. But they have this idea, and they feel personal because they come to all these shows. Mm-hmm. Hi, Thomas. I'm like, hi. Keep it
Chad.
moving. Yeah, I'm just real. You know what I mean? Like, so I could see dating somebody that's doing that. It
Yeah.
would be very difficult to maneuver through, and it sucks because it's like I don't want to give up playing music.
Yeah.
Because that would just tear one of my limbs off, basically. But how do you have a healthy relationship and still do that? Because I've tried to be respectful. I don't pick up girls at shows. I've never done it. I don't plan on starting to do it because I don't want a girl to date me just because I play in a band. That's gross to me. It's just like, oh my God, you play in a band? I'm like, you know, I'm out. I don't like that. You know, I want you to like me if I drive a tow motor. I always say that. You know? So I could imagine if you're playing in a band, you know, guys would have a hard time with that shit too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Be like, you know the rule. You know, you're either mine or you're not mine.
Yep.
You know, I don't know, but I don't get freaked out by shit. And like you said, through that trauma and shit I've been through, like life endangering shit, you don't really sweat the little shit anymore. And most things feel like little shit, and that sucks because I don't want somebody else to feel like I don't listen to them or feel what they're feeling. But I can't.
Yeah.
I'm trying to like feel shit. And I'm just like, I still don't feel it. I still don't understand it.
You don't have to feel what they're feeling to validate what they're feeling, though.
Not in their eyes. It sure don't feel that way. Like they want you to be 100% on board, or it's a fail.
Yeah.
It's a hit and a miss, right? Or swing and a miss.
No, I have a couple. I've had couples that I work with that one of them will be more emotional and the other one is more like logical, right? And they're like, I just want you to hear me. And they're like, I hear you. Like, I'm reflecting back what you're saying to me, and I will do better.
I'm like, go get it perfect.
Right. But the other person is like, yeah, but you don't seem like you hear me.
Jesus, you can't win.
Well, so being there, I'll ask. I'm like, what does that look like for you? Like, do you want them to cry?
Oh, fuck.
Do you want them to yell? Do you want that, like, but in a challenging way, you know, like what evidence do you need to know that they understand
Notebook
you?
shit. Build me a house. Build me a fucking house. Prove it.
I do you feel like sometimes, like, if somebody's hurt, that they want that other person to, like, experience that hurt? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, that's how, like, you know, a lot of sexual deviants start their career. I mean, they've been hurt and they want to hurt other people.
But that's
not healthy.
Saying that from, like, past experiences of my own, like, there's been times where something horrible has happened or I've been lied to or whatever, and, like, I almost like, yeah, you want them to realize that they've hurt you, but then you also want them to be like, and that's so unhealthy. That's so unhealthy.
No,
you know what I
true.
mean? So sometimes I feel like maybe they feel like they're
retaliation.
not. Yeah.
Well,
I
and
guess.
there's definitely couples that I've worked with that are, you know, spiteful or vindictive that way, that like
Get out of here.
that they'll lash back
Nah.
out to try, but that's more of like that ledger, right? That score keeping mentality. More often I meet with couples that if somebody has been hurt, their point is to help this other person know they're hurt. And you can't.
I can't. I mean, literally, I try to like understand shit, but I'm like hitting my head against the fucking wall going, I don't get it. I don't. And I want to get it because I want to make things transition better, or, you know, and I literally am like, but then I feel like I fail.
It's just a double whammy because the victim is re-victimized when they realize that the only way to move past it is if they forgive them.
They have to get over it.
Forgiveness is so strong.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've had to learn.
Yeah, because this person did it in the first place or didn't do, you know, or whatever, and they can apologize and they can try to make it up, but you can't move forward until you decide that you're done with it.
That's hard.
That is hard. And that sucks because that's like, you screwed me over and now I'm the one that's responsible for moving forward.
But isn't that kind of the way it is, though?
It is.
It's your problem.
Right, yes.
You know what, though? One of my favorite ideas behind forgiveness is when you forgive somebody, you're not helping them. You're helping yourself.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the way I had to view it. I actually just led a group recently for women on boundaries and forgiveness. And, like, and I noticed, like, when you tell them like, well, you need to forgive them. They're like, I'm not forgiving them because,
Like they're going to change. Like I always tell people, they're living their life. They don't give a fuck whether you
Exactly.
gave them forgiveness or not. They're still doing their shit.
Yeah.
But,
And when you genuinely are able to forgive somebody, it's the most coolest feeling ever. Like you do feel like
better.
Yeah.
At peace with it.
Because like you said, they're going to continue doing what they're doing, being happy.
Or whatever.
You're going to sit there being bitter, and then it's going to keep affecting
your next relationship.
Everything else.
So what's the point?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then if you guys are going to stay together, I mean, you might as well just release it, get it over with, and...
See, I think that's why I literally don't give two shits about most stuff, because then I don't have to forgive you. Because I'm just like, I mean, honestly, I'm just like this. That wasn't that bad.
Yeah. You have to be offended in order.
Yeah, I'd have to give a shit for it to
people,
matter, right? That's
Right.
my favorite old saying. I'd have to
Right.
give a shit for it to matter. Because most of the time, I don't give a shit, not in a negative way. I just don't, like, why? Is this going to affect me?
Yeah.
Does it really affect me?
Yeah, you just
It
have
doesn't.
a higher threshold.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, my can's real big. You know what I mean?
I think too, like when you go through a lot of relationships, when you have a lot of traumatic experiences and stuff that you do, like things that would mean a lot more to someone don't mean as much to you.
Yeah, because I've dealt with, like, horrible
shit,
shit.
right, yeah.
And I understand, like I always say, man, it's a big deal to them. So I have a new question. I heard this very dear friend of mine say when she was talking to this boy, she asked him a question and says, "Are you seeing anybody?" And I'm sure you guys have had these conversations with men. All right, and she goes, "I didn't really like how he answered it. It wasn't like clear as it should have been."
Okay.
Could have been.
And then she said, "Let me rephrase this question. Does anyone think they're dating you?" And I fucking lost it. I was like, that might be one of the most boss ass things I've heard. In
What
a
was his
long
answer?
time. Oh, he knew. He fell in love with her. Literally, because he was just like, this girl.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he still never answered as good as he probably should have. But I thought that was an interesting thing. Like, does anyone think they're dating you?
Yeah.
You know, you might not be dating them,
Yeah.
but there might be someone out there that thinks they're dating you. So it gets
And
a
you're
little
aware.
creepy.
You're aware that somebody thinks they're dating you.
Like, how can you not answer
makes it
that
worse.
question
Yeah,
like
yeah.
pretty directly? You know,
Yeah.
a little bit of lying going on
Yeah.
there.
I saw something, either that or something similar on TikTok or Facebook or,
Yeah.
you know, are we dating the same guy?
Oh, we're not allowed to talk about that. Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
I don't know. It's like on the news.
Oh, then we're allowed to talk about it. It's busted now. It's going to go
yeah,
down
that's true.
any time now. Have you seen that website?
No.
Oh my God. So there's a page. I'll say it because I'm allowed to say it.
God. That's true.
There's a Facebook page that has like, "Are we dating the same guy?" 330. Are we dating the same guy?
No
216.
kidding.
Yeah, and the girls are wicked, and it grows by the thousands by the week,
Oh boy.
right? And they will put some things on there that are very private. Like if some guy sent you something, I don't feel like you should just be posting that shit. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, well, he sent it to me. I'm like, well, you guys probably wouldn't appreciate what you've sent to boys if they were posting it on Facebook for everybody to see.
Right.
So it's a lot of, I will say I have a counselor friend that might have witnessed some of this stuff. And she said that there wasn't a lot of healthy stuff going on as much as like, I went on a date with him and he just ghosted me. He's a piece of shit. It's like, well, he probably just didn't like you. He
Yeah.
doesn't have to talk to you. Because if you didn't want to talk to a guy, you wouldn't want him calling you a horrible name because you didn't want to see him anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of mad.
Bitter.
Are they real bitter?
Bitter.
Is that what your friend saw on there? She saw some very bitter things.
Very bitter things. Very bitter.
Is it more bitter than sweet or helpful?
I will say, so she told me,
I had clients the other day that said that they had like some people in there.
yeah, right.
I was like-
well, I think that's why everybody looks at it, because they're hoping that they're going to see somebody they know.
Seriously?
Oh, yeah.
Y'all are train wreck watchers.
That's true.
Holy shit.
I kind of want to look it up. And
You want to look right now. You're
kinda
like, can we
don't.
wrap this up?
Right.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, if there was
It's the new TikTok.
Facebook like that.
So it's just a train wreck.
Yeah, I think sometimes there's some positivity. I mean, the goal of those pages, from my understanding, is to try to be positive. It is a women's focused
Right.
safety thing of like, hey,
But
I
then it
went
gets
out
out of
with this.
control.
I went
Yeah.
out with this guy and like it was not okay.
Well,
To
that
try
makes
to-
sense.
Right.
That's beautiful.
Right. it has turned though into
A roast.
I mean, there are some posts that are like, let's get them girls. And like they post the picture and it's just all shit. There's women who
Do they
post,
think that's like
who
positive?
post their husbands or their boyfriends and pretend like they're dating just to see if other people are like,
No.
oh yeah.
No.
Oh.
See, no.
Sometimes people will post and then their wife is on.
You haven't seen
And
me
then-
on there, have you?
I have not.
Good.
Well, my friend has not.
You.
Yet.
My ass ain't on there.
But here's
if
the
somebody
thing.
put me
So
on there, it's some bullshit.
There's rules. You're not allowed to take screenshots. You're not
on.
allowed to share it.
Okay.
Oh, but they do.
No
and now
shit.
that has come out. And I think that's what's on the
You
news
start
and
roasting
on other
them.
Facebook is that like this is supposed to be women focused, and you have pick-me's, right? Do you know what a pick-me is?
No.
A pick-me girl. It's like
I love when you guys say shit to me like, you know what I'm talking about. I'm like, no.
a pick-me. It is just that the girl that's like, I'll do it. I'm fantastic. Pick me.
Okay.
So
I'm not a pick me.
there.
Please don't.
I'm a fuck off.
Pick me.
Yeah.
You
I
handle
don't
that
wanna-
yourself.
I don't fuck with pick-me's too much.
No.
They're not that attractive to me.
Right. But a pick me in this capacity would be like, hey, there's this guy that I posted that I'm talking to, and I just want to know if there's any red flags or anything that I need to be aware of. Has anybody seen him? Is anybody else dating him? You know, like that.
So
that's
another
the
girl
goal.
will try to talk to him.
Screenshot, send it to him, and then he messages girl A and is like, I can't believe that you would say blah 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 blah, and they're like, this is not.
But don't you think that if you're posting some shit on that, don't you think it's super disrespectful to him that he is not privy to that? What if I was posting a picture of a girl and being like, hey, is this girl, being
Most of them-
disrespectful? You know what I
Right.
mean?
Most of them post anonymously. And they just say like, hey, I've been talking to this. I mean, the normal ones.
Do you think that's weird
I've been
as fuck,
talking
though?
to. Oh, I think it's
That is
not
so
the
weird.
healthiest. It's like Carfax.
Dick
Social
facts.
media just
It's dick
ruins
facts. It's
everything.
not car facts.
Right. Like, hey, I've been going out with this guy for a couple weeks. And does anybody know him? Does anybody have any feedback?
Do you find that odd?
I find it incredibly entertaining.
Is that what your friend said?
Yes.
This is a shit show.
No, it's super unhealthy. I think in my head, I go back to, 50 years ago, we weren't doing this, but
There's a lot of shady shit going on behind your back.
50 years ago, we would all go to euchre night and you would tell me about your son's friend
Knitting
that you
circles.
want to hook up with my son's friend or my daughter's friend,
Yeah.
and we would fact check and we would be like, you know what, you should call Brenda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some shit going on.
Right. So we've always done it. We've always tried to look out for our own.
But you're not just roasting
Is the
someone.
root of that.
Well,
right.
that in that situation, thousands of people are seeing that person's face, and
Yeah.
And if a guy sends you
That's
a
thousands.
picture, that's for you.
yeah,
I mean, I find that super disrespectful.
Yeah. They're like their profile pictures. They're just screenshotting their profile picture and posting it.
Not the gym pictures,
It's
the
their
mirror
profile-
pictures.
it's
That's their big. Then
it's-
fuck them. They're douchebag dudes. Fuck
Well,
them.
so that's usually what
Sorry.
happens is they post their
No.
face, they post their picture, and they're like in a gym selfie, and the first every time.
Seriously.
Red flag 101.
So I have girls
shirtless
that come in.
profile pictures.
I have girls that come in,
I hate it.
and they'll be talking with their girlfriend about this guys, and I was like, let me see their profile, and I'll go, he's not healthy, and they're like, how do you know? I go, roll through his thing. If you have every picture you took yourself
It's a selfie, all of them.
of a boy, I'll give you girls credit. Y'all are feeling yourselves, and that's what girls do, okay? But I'm gonna tell you right now,
we're
if
not.
you don't have any pictures of you doing anything socially, and every picture is the same exact angle in the same gym or in the same mirror, I'm telling you right now, that is not a healthy
What
ass
about
thing.
when there's a picture where their head's not even part of it?
There's
It's
their
just
body.
the abs.
I mean, if that's what you're into,
Ooh,
you know what I mean?
think that's
Because
creepy.
you're dating the abs.
No.
You're not dating the man or the head. You're dating the abs.
I guess, but here's the thing. If that's what you, like we said last week,
It's a menu. Go through the menu.
have
Pick
at
what
it.
you want.
If that's what you're looking for, that's fine. But please do not take these headless ab pictures and post them on Facebook and be like, does anybody know anything about him?
Yeah, everybody does. He talks to 200 girls.
Right.
No shit.
Right.
Like, seriously?
Like, you thought, you were like, you know what? Let me make sure he's not talking to anybody else.
So I have people
Chances
say,
are
yes.
he might be.
But people are dating. They're going to be talking to multiple people. Our grandmas used to date 3 guys at the same time. They did. They went on fucking dates.
Yeah.
So that's what my friend actually does have a big issue with. Because she's like, when did him ghosting you turn him into a narcissist? When did him losing interest in you make him an asshole?
Yeah.
When did him talking to multiple people? You guys have been talking for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you're like on Facebook saying, who's dating him?
Everyone.
7 of us.
You know, that's
Why is that bad?
I feel the same way as a female with males though too. Like because I've been single now for 2 years and I'll go out, like dating's dating, right?
Yeah.
Dating.
And you're trying to see if you like each other before you make a commitment. And like I might hang out with someone 1 or 2 times and make the comment that like, hey, this probably isn't going to work. Thank you so much for your time. Like whatever.
Like a bad interview? Oh my God.
You're not
She's like,
qualified for this job.
Watch for a letter in the mail.
But they get like
I'll have
so
my people call your people.
but they get like so angry and vengeful and it's just like that's what dating is.
We learned that from y'all.
Yeah.
We did.
Maybe.
I'm joking. Not really. Maybe. But it is, people are sore losers.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same guy that hollers at a girl and then they don't, like, it's okay because you're fat anyways. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious? That's a real thing? Like,
Yeah.
you're gross anyways. I'm like, then why are you, like, I don't work that way. My brain doesn't work that way. So I'm just like, y'all are crazy. But I think because people are like, it's so hard to date now with social media. I was like, it's easier than it's ever been. Because you can scroll through 8 years of their fucking life and go, they're a douchebag.
Yeah.
They're a shitty person. She's a shit show. Like, if you can't see that without, like, this, dude, I can look at a guitar and put it in my hands for 13 seconds and go, nope, not for me.
Yeah.
You think I can't scroll through your socials and go, that could be a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
That could kind of be weird. That's kind of shitty. Oh, my God. Theirs look like they actually have a healthy life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know
Or
what I mean?
like they look good
They're
now,
smiling
but like,
with
look
other
at
people.
2009.
This is really creepy what I do, but I always look at their exes.
How do you know that they're their exes?
I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out.
Look at her face.
But
She's like, it's a... So I have this app that like scans everything. And
no,
every
like I
picture.
mean, like if you're friends with someone on Facebook and you're like talking to them, and like from 2015 to 2020, they're always with this girl like holding hands on
Sure,
vacation.
right, yeah.
But like if she looks like a normal female, then I'm like, okay, like
reasonable.
she looks like we could be friends. We might date the same person.
Okay, if she's lighting
You
his
all-
shit
she-
on fire,
She
or
probably
You
has goals.
also have a
I've
Saint
never
Bernard.
let anyone shit on fire.
did you do that?
No.
So look,
I feel horrible. I did light a guy's sock on fire one time.
on purpose.
Because you were mad?
We
Sock.
yeah, this is crazy. No, we had broken up and it was like 2 years later I had friends over and we were looking for something under like this outdoor couch I have on my porch and one of his socks was like tucked in the back corner and I didn't know it was there. So yeah, we lit it on fire and had like a
Ceremony.
I can't believe this is going on the
Did he?
Like now I'm trying to think. I'm like, have I ever
Edit that part
lit
out.
anything on fire?
No way. It's
I don't
in
think
there.
I have.
And then he lost his foot.
Well, we are because his foot was
Voodoo.
in it.
Voodoo.
We didn't touch
He was
his
still in the
right, yeah.
sock?
He was actually laying on the couch and his foot was squished.
She didn't take the sock off his foot.
You've never lit
Jeez.
anything on fire?
No, I'm not into
I don't
that
think I
shit.
have either.
No, dude.
I actually don't get rid of pictures. Have we talked about this?
I don't either.
It's a whole thing.
Listen, I'm out.
Why? Is it too close?
Yeah, it's super
Okay.
too close. No, I'll tell you what. You go ahead, and then I'll tell you my experience because I got in some
Sorry.
trouble. She's breaking shit. She's trying to get my sock off.
It's her lighter.
I know.
Fell out
Right?
of her
Yeah, she has a
pocket.
huge Zippo lighter, the giant ones. Go ahead, pictures.
No, so I have never set anything on fire, but given those circumstances, I probably would. I would assume that wine was involved.
It was
or
just
like,
for fun, yeah.
Yeah, in effigy.
I didn't have like
I
a
don't-
bonfire.
I had friends growing up, and I have friends now that, you know, like you were saying on Facebook, where they break up and they like delete every single picture ever. I haven't had a breakup since I've been on Facebook this time. And Well, because I was on it. I was on it when I was married, and then we went through a bad
gotcha.
time, so I got off, and then I didn't get back on until after my divorce and whatever. But I never had anything in common with the girls that like set shit on fire and like ripped up pictures and like packed up all their stuff and sent it back. And like, that was not my thing. When I moved in with my husband, I brought all of my picture totes and my wedding photos. And I had to sit down with him because I was like, I don't know how this goes, right? Like I don't get rid of pictures.
I'm getting so uncomfortable right
I'm sorry?
now. Go ahead.
I don't get rid of pictures because that's all you have. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't have those pictures anymore, those memories are gone, right? So it's not like I look at them. It's not like I cry about them. I have lost a lot of very close people to me to overdoses, suicide, car accident, things like that. In those cases, I'll be like, I bet I have some like really good pictures of them from when we were like 12.
Yeah.
And I'll go digging through those and cry and, give them to their parents.
Right.
But I had a conversation with my now husband that I was like, listen, so these pictures are coming into our house. And he was like, okay. He said, okay. And I was like, I have seen your wedding album. And he was like, where is it? And I was like, it was in your closet. Like as I was moving, he does not feel the same way about his ex. So I was like, you have yours. And he was like, you could burn it tomorrow. And I would
Give it to
like,
Allie.
right? Yeah.
She'll burn that shit with that sock.
But I said,
She'll wrap it up with a sock. Like,
I said, I don't want the whole album. I said, but what I think I'm going to do is like take the pictures out of the photo albums and just put them in my bins and like put them away
for your kids.
Listen, I got my parents' wedding photos. They got divorced when I was 4.
Yeah.
I looked at my grandma and was like, why are you giving these to me? I don't
Do you know
want
now why? Makes sense now,
Yeah,
right? You want
right.
them now.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
No.
Those
You
old
really
photos
don't?
too are
No.
so cool.
I looked at them and tossed them in the same bins.
yeah.
I don't
So
have
I
any
have
memories
totes
of
for all my children. I have a tote for
Yeah.
each one of them. So I have things from when they were born. I have things like that. Anything that I know
Sure.
that's pertinent to our relationship or
Yeah.
their mother's relationship, I keep in their tote.
Yeah.
Because that's for them when I'm gone. They can go, oh, he's got this shit. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
it
for
has
sure.
something that, because some people that really means a lot to
It
them.
does. It
And
does.
some people, not at all. And
Right.
that's okay, whatever
It does
works for
for
you. But I
myself,
want to give
but-
them the option to go throw it
Go
away
through it.
or keep it.
That
whatever
was
the
my
fuck you wanna
thought.
do
Like,
with it.
I didn't care
Yeah.
about my parents' photo because I don't remember them together.
I've learned to get rid of everything. I've learned to completely. I
Yeah,
have
tell
to,
me about this trigger. What is going on with you over
Well,
there?
I had an instance where I had something in a shed in a tote. I have totes because I keep shit in totes.
Sure.
And I had a person that was looking through it, and she found things that were in there that I didn't even remember. Because when I cleaned out an
obviously,
area
right,
in
yeah.
my basement to make room to paint, I just threw everything. Because I could tell by what else was in that tote, that was just in that area.
Yep.
And it was like, why do you still have this? And I was literally like, I didn't even know that was here. Because
Right.
it's like, if you
Well,
think.
it's not on display.
No, and I
She
understand.
didn't find
like,
you going through your shed crying.
Right.
Like,
I'm out there. Like, what are you out there doing? Shut up.
I need a moment.
I'm looking for my break.
Look away.
Yeah. So she got upset, and I understand. Like, I just get it. When people are upset, I try to look at. I was like this: throw the shit in the trash. Like, I don't give two shits because it's not. I didn't even remember it being in there. I really, like, I didn't remember it being
What if
there.
it was important to you?
It wasn't.
What if it was?
Well,
Would
then
you
I-
have had that? Like,
no,
would you
if
have
it was
dug your
important to me,
heel?
I would have been
Yeah.
non. Like, I'm just gonna say, look, this is.
Right.
I have no problem going. Here's the line.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, because it's.
Right.
I
You can
can't-
feel whatever it is that you got to feel.
I'm
and
either
sorry
I'm
about
either
it.
completely cool or this is an unmovable
Yeah.
object. But I have a decent reason. But like most things, I don't have that kind of connection to.
Non-negotiable.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't. But I'm saying like most things, there's not much
Okay.
that like
Right.
pictures. Listen, if you were trying to get in my kids' totes and get rid of shit, I'd be like, listen, you're
Yeah.
overstepping some shit. Like
That's not your stuff. That's not my stuff. That's their stuff.
I
now.
don't covet things. Like, I really don't covet that kind of stuff. Like, I'm not like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Other than, like, a stuff for my kids. But past that, I don't keep pictures from shit anymore. I've scrubbed my house. Because I'm just like, I don't want, relationships are hard enough. I don't need you to come in my house and be like, this makes me uncomfortable. I'm just like, just then get the fuck rid of it. I don't care.
Right.
Like, are you here? Cool. We can do
Yeah.
this. Because I don't want to fucking fight with you about shit that literally, I didn't remember those in there. And she was really upset. And I was like, but tell me why you're really upset. Because like, I can't unfuck her. Not to be blunt, but like, I can't. I was in a relationship with her. Why do you still have this? Because I told you it was in a box on a shelf. Because the other stuff that was in, I just know where, like, it jogged my memory. Yeah. I painted all these cabinets. Right. And I just threw it all in a tote just to get it to, and then I was doing something, just throwing shit in my thing. And it's frustrating for me because I don't have an attachment. But even when you, like we talked before, even if I tell you something, you're still going to think I'm lying. And that's frustrating to me because I'm just like, well, then you wonder why I don't want to talk to you? Because everything you think I say to you is a fucking lie or to try to make you feel better. And sometimes I'm just telling the, I can't make it up.
I feel like for somebody to get upset about that, though, like I feel like we all have something from our past that we have. Whether it's a letter or a picture or...
I don't think she really did. She's a clean house fucking person, man. I'm not joking. Like, she is, like, surgical.
And, I know I am, too. And the way that, like, if I break up with someone... Sock. And if, like...
I'm just going to sneak over her house and just put socks everywhere.
I think that everybody has reasons for it, though. Like, I've gone through breakups. Let's say some guy brought over his fan that's in my bedroom. I don't want it in my room. And it's not because I hate him. I just don't want to look at it because it reminds me of something.
Yeah. It's disturbing your peace.
But years later, I do want to see that picture or read that letter, that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I don't keep letters. Like, that's something I don't keep because that hits different for me. I don't want to read what you have to say to me.
I just don't date girls who can write. So I don't have to worry about that. I'm joking.
But my husband keeps every card I've given him, every letter I have. He's a words of affirmation person.
I've kept a lot of stuff.
I'm too disorganized.
But it makes it easy when you got to get rid of it.
Everything I'm like, I'm keeping this. And then like 3 weeks later, I'm like, shit, where'd I put that letter at?
No, he just like tosses it on his nightstand and then eventually it goes in a drawer and he has a whole bunch. But I knew that. So when I found a box of letters and pictures and whatever, I assumed actually he probably didn't even know it was there.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to tell everybody, but her husband has this disease that gives him really short-term memory and it's lost and he doesn't know where anything's at. She actually has to remember that he's married to her every day.
Every day. Like 50 First Dates. Yes, I have a video that pops up.
Every day. Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm a counselor. Don't try to trick me because I'll fucking ruin your life. Just saying.
Promise I'm your wife.
Right. There's 30 pictures of you on Are We Dating the Same Guy? Every day you wake up, there's a new picture. I'm going to burn your fucking socks while they're on your feet. Just saying. So that kind of shit gets a little hairy.
I think getting upset about it, though, goes once again back to the whole, like, being a whole person that's content with yourself.
It's hard, though, man. If everything feels like it's like, but like you always say, it goes back to you being your childhood and things like that. And, like, I understand that that's in her brain. Like, it triggered some shit in her. I can't make her not feel that way. And I want to make her feel comfortable. I'm like, those shit, well, I'll throw it in the trash. Like, I will slam dunk that shit. I'll Kobe the hell out of it because it doesn't mean anything to me. It doesn't.
Especially if it's in a tote in the garage or shed.
Dude, I don't.
It's not like it was.
Because she was like, you know what's in there. I was like, nah, fucking, you could have a gun in my kid's mouth. I was like, I fucking could not tell you.
That's what I always say. Gun to my head. I don't got it.
No idea. And I felt bad because it really fucking ruined her day. And she had to sit and do that. And I can't control that. But in the same breath, I love her. And I wanted to make sure she was, you know what I mean? Like, but you can only do so much.
A nerve, but, like, let it strike a nerve and then, like...
move on.
Right.
And she did.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Maybe.
That's
I think. Good. I don't know.
No. I feel like the older we get...
I have no socks left.
The older we get with our dysfunctional attachment styles, and because we're not all whole people, I think it starts to bother them that, like you said, I can't unfuck her. Like, you gave some of yourself to that person when you were 19. And then you gave some of yourself to that person when you were 22. Right. But some people really struggle with that.
Ooh.
I mean, I work with couples all the time that are like, I wish I would have met you sooner. Like them. And I'm like, no.
Well, that be because they don't have, like, dude, the whole body count thing. I had a girl, she was saying that, she's dating. And guys ask her like that. And I go,
why?
Is that often? She goes, all the time. And
That's awful.
I go, is it a kink for them? No, I'm being
Are they-
serious. Like, do they want to hear about it? Because there's people
That's
that are
okay.
into
Well,
that,
that's true.
right? But I go, but what does that even mean? Like,
Why? Do
I
they
was
wanna know
curious about that because she goes, you've never asked a girl? I go, oh God, no. Like, I don't need that in my hard drive.
that?
Like,
Yeah.
why would I
That's
need that?
That's a question I don't want the answer
And why
to.
would it
Right.
even matter? I mean, I guess it would matter. I don't know. I said,
You know what question I ask? When was the last time you tested?
that would make more sense.
'Cause that's what I want to. I don't care what the past looks like. I want to know that, like, before you are getting into the. Are you the only one that am I the only one that you're sleeping with?
Is anyone else dating you?
Does anybody else think that they're sleeping with
Is
you?
that the
Bingo.
best? Like, I was like, high five, girl. That was
Right.
awesome.
But like those are appropriate, I guess, in my head, like responsible adult questions.
But they weren't asking questions.
That
like
is not what they were asking.
they were asking. Body count, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And I was just
Ugh,
like,
I hate
You're
that
kinda
word. Just
shaming
that whole-
somebody.
Nate, the whole.
is that what you think it is?
Yeah.
I don't work like that because in my mind, I'm like this. I don't know. Can you guys wear your parts out? I don't think you really can, right? So it doesn't matter if one guy's doing it a bunch or a bunch of guys are doing it once.
That's true.
Is that fair?
Right. So do you want?
I don't have those parts.
Rate, or do you want like a body?
Hourly? Like an
Right.
hour clicker? Like on a lawnmower?
Yeah, right. Are we talking mileage or like
God.
owners?
No, linear foot. Linear foot. So you put them all together. How much linear foot has been inside you?
That might be more.
That's some math that we can't do. I can't do. I have had no linear foot in me. So that's pretty easy math to do.
People are so entitled with their questions.
I feel like that's a crazy, like,
It's
I'm all about
so
crazy questions.
entitled.
Mike's in there going, you ask crazy questions of people. But I would never cross that line for I won't say I don't want to know. If you want to share it with me, I don't have a problem. But I'm not freaked. I guess it really comes down to I'm not freaked out by shit. And it probably makes people really fucking uncomfortable.
Oh well, yeah, because if they tell you and then you're not jealous, women get mad when you're not jealous.
Yeah, but
I've
that's
had that.
psychotic.
Jesus.
Sorry. I'm not the counselor, but I'm
Yes.
diagnosing.
She's
For
like,
real.
nah, that shit's fucked up.
Sorry.
It's a big red flag.
Is it?
People want.
Have you had guys ask you this?
what my body count is?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I have, but like way back when.
But not
I
recently.
don't feel
I
like
was
that's
probably
like a
little.
mature
Not little.
question. Back when I was 12.
I was under 20 for sure. I would guess the last time I was asked that I was under 20.
I want to just slide under this.
20 years old.
I feel like it's important to meet somebody where they're at. Because there's things I've done in my past in relationships that I'm not proud of. There's mistakes I've made, that kind of thing. But they also have made me into who I am, who I'm proud of.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
So if I tell you my mistake, or if I tell you about the relationship or the partner or whatever, it might look bad, but you're also not realizing that it's made me.
I have a crazy past.
Who
at
I am.
times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Compared to some people. And,
Sure.
and compared to some people, I'm very vanilla.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
But
It's all relative.
I don't know. I can't undo it.
No.
And I live very much like, this is what I'm doing today. I can look in the rearview mirror a little bit. You can't look too forward ahead or you just run over everything. Like, you're just fucking up. But, like, I am who I am. And, like, if you're not okay with that, within reason. You know what I mean? But, like, my past, like, I used to be self-sabotaging as shit. Like, I would just hand grenade the fuck out of relationships. And then once I stopped, it stopped. You know what I mean? Like, I try to be better about it by leaps and bounds. But it's still, I end up in the same fucking place.
Yeah.
I'm not going to joke, man. I swear the meaner you treat people sometimes, the more leeway you fucking get. And I don't want to be that way because I'd rather just be alone. I'm not even joking. I've thought about it a lot lately. I would rather not ever hinder someone's life or have somebody hinder my life than be in that shit show of just constant, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to hurt anybody anymore either, but I don't want them to hurt me. So it's like this guard. I don't want to be bitter, but I've been finding myself being bitter lately, and I don't want to be, and I don't know how to, like, you know,
Cleanse.
loofah sponge this shit out of me to not be bitter. You know what I mean? Because it's like, I swear, not woe is me, like, but no matter what I do, somebody has a fucking problem with it. It doesn't matter. And that's frustrating as shit for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to maneuver through that well, and I know how to maneuver through most things, but that one to me is like that fucked up question that I'm like, and you know, and people are like, well, Thomas, you just haven't found the right girl. I'm like, there's no such thing for that for me anymore. I just don't feel like there is, because I'm such a weird, quirky ass dude that like they want a version of me that doesn't exist. And if I treated people that way, it would be abusive. It would be whatever other word you want to put on it. And it's hard. I don't even know how else to say it, but it's like, it's emotionally hard on me, especially, you know, just thinking about it. And I'm like, well, how do you win? Is there a winning? Or is just like whenever one person's happy, the other person's eating shit. And when the other person's happy, you know what I mean? Like, it's always like,
give and take.
And that to me is just like, that's gross. Because I don't act that way with my friends. I don't act that way with people. You know what I mean? Like, and I just want to be chill. And it's like, Thomas, not always chill. I'm like, it kind of is.
Yeah.
Are you fucking serious? We live here. We all have, you know, good ass careers that we worked hard for. And we have money. And we're not poor. We're not starving. Like, we can make as much money. You could work every day of the year if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. Like, you could work every day of the year. Yeah. Like, I do. And like, why are we so fucking, like, do we got to invent things to be mad? But it matters to me. And I'm like, okay, I get it. But like, does it? But it does. And then it's like this whole fucking weird thing that just circles back over and over again. And I'm like, I don't know how to fix this. I just don't. And it's frustrating as shit for me. So does somebody think they're dating you?
No.
Nobody does?
No one.
So body counts. Don't ask people about body counts. It's gross.
No. Gross.
Unless you're into it and you're like, hey, I'm just kind of into it.
I want to
tell
know.
them you're into it.
How many videos do you have?
Jeez. How many downloads?
Yikes.
My God.
How many private folders do you have?
Porn addiction.
Porn addiction.
That's a hard one. When you said that earlier, I was just like, what is a porn addiction? What is even the definition of a porn addiction? Like, how much?
So to me, it goes along with every other addiction, like clinically in my head.
Okay.
It's a maladaptive coping skill. Like,
you got to explain that shit.
Poor
People,
coping.
you just lost.
Unhealthy coping.
Okay, because people are like,
Right.
what? Right there. What did she say?
Maladaptive coping skills. So there's a lot of coping skills. You know, you can take a bath, or you could work out, or you could read, or you could
Burn socks.
burn socks.
It happened once. It's not an addiction.
It will never. He will never let it go.
Good shit. I just think it's great.
And it's funny. So maladaptive coping to me does include like sex, porn, drugs, alcohol, smoking, shopping, gambling, self-harm.
So a normal weekend.
Your Friday.
Fucking not my life. Ugh.
And
That's a lot.
I would say that sex is probably the one of those. All of those can be unhealthy in excess, right?
I'd imagine. Yeah.
So I guess that's where
When it becomes unhealthy.
Porn can become addicting.
But
sex can become addicting.
But how does the porn become unhealthy is what I'm asking. Because you're not doing other things that you should be doing, or I'm trying to understand.
The only thing that makes anything unhealthy to a person is when they identify distress. So you can't have a problem with alcohol unless you're in distress about your alcoholism.
Okay.
You can't have a mood disorder unless you're in distress about your mood.
How do you have distress about porn? Just getting caught?
If you're,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
if you're doing
That,
it
if
and
it's like dictating your life.
yeah, if it's interfering with your home, if it's interfering with your relationships, if it's interfering with your job.
your job?
Yeah.
Fuck is wrong with y'all?
Have you heard of like people getting charged with like indecent exposure?
I don't run
Like,
in those
there-
circles,
Herman.
Kelly.
There are people who are caught masturbating in
Who are you hanging out with?
Pee Wee Herman did that.
Oh, shit, you're right.
These are not people that I'm hanging out with. These are people that I read
like,
about.
It happened at
or
Target
that-
last week.
I was at Ulta getting some makeup. Sephora.
Masturbating in the parking lot, in the bathroom, at your job, looking at porn on your work computer. Like, I mean,
No.
these are things that people, these are, you asked, what does porn addiction look like? This is what it looks
I
like.
get it. Now I get it. Now I'm just like creeped out to go to Ulta. There went our sponsor. So, shop at Ulta. Just don't hang out in the parking lot. Pretty simple. So yeah, it stresses out. I'm still amazed at how many talks with clients you're having about this recently.
Oh my God. Porn just keeps going.
I was
and
amazed that
going
you guys
and
talked about
going.
TikTok so much. Like that there's a TikTok problem. Like people
Yeah.
are pissed off about that.
Yes.
That makes me sad.
That people are
That
mad
like
about
I
it, or-
feel like people can't enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Just in general.
right.
Like everything has to be attached to like a phone or an app or
Well, you said you spent a weekend without your phone for the first time
did.
ever.
yeah.
How many days?
So I got dropped off on Thursday afternoon and I got picked up Sunday night. So
That leaves so many unanswered
Thursday, Friday,
questions, which
Saturday.
I understand.
3
which-
nights, almost 4 days.
4
It was
days,
magical.
no phone.
Yeah. And I think the one
Did you have a watch?
No, you were not allowed to have a watch and
Are you on Naked and Scared?
there was no
like, what's
clocks.
going on?
no clocks and they wouldn't tell you what time it was.
Is this a concentration camp?
No.
But was it a good reset?
It was amazing.
I don't think most people could do that.
And I was going to comment on what you were saying earlier about I can't remember.
We've talked about a lot of shit.
100% can't remember exactly what you were saying, but when you're talking about like people not being happy and not knowing like what exactly to do to like appease women and them whatever, the weekend retreat I went on was all about like self-worth and love and like if you believe in a higher power or like whatever your focus is on, kind of like centering yourself in that before
Everything else.
Yes. And it was so powerful. And in that experience, I think that was the coolest part was I didn't have a phone. I didn't have any connection to anybody I knew. Friends, family, guy I'm dating, whatever. And I had to find myself and I had to make new friends and like that kind of thing. But yeah, you come out of that and you do. Like I don't know. I think you're more picky about like who you associate with and you start realizing
You don't need it.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
it's that center. Like I feel like so many people are on autopilot constantly.
You have to be. Every day is like tick, tick, tick. This is what I do at this time.
Yeah.
This is what I do at this time.
You
this
do,
time.
but you don't. Like I feel like
Right.
we don't. Like
No, it's not real. COVID proved to everybody that you could literally take all that away. Our job stopped.
yeah,
I mean,
completely.
I used to joke because I'd have young guys and guys I worked with, and I'm like, look, this shit could all go away. They're like, there's no way this could go away. They can't shut this shit down. I said, look at me.
yeah,
It takes one mayor's kid to get hepatitis. It takes one mayor's kid to get a fucked up tattoo to go, we're done with this.
yeah,
And when it shut down, dude, my friends that are artists and musicians lost their shit.
yeah,
They're like, the government's taking away my ability to earn. I'm like, no, they didn't. You got hands? Go figure it out. Go figure out some other shit.
yeah,
Go get after it. Well, this is what I do. I shouldn't have to. I was like, that ain't how life works.
yeah,
But it showed you how, like, you had to figure, like, how unprepared are you? But, like, phone's shutting down. If you don't want to talk on your phone, don't.
yeah,
And people are like, it's important. If you have, I go, what if there's an emergency? I go, what do you have, a tattoo emergency? You have a fucking guitar emergency? You got a hair fucking emergency?
yeah,
No, you don't. Ish. You know what I mean? But, like, it's not, I don't have to be that available. And we were talking about that before, and, like, with relationships. If our grandfathers had to be tethered to a phone constantly to be checked and balanced nonstop, I don't think relationships would have lasted as long as they did.
yeah,
There's no way. Even being a child now, where your parents can literally track you. If my parents tracked me when I was 9 years old, I'd be fucked.
yeah,
Because my friends are older and we were raising hell.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and even I wouldn't say we're going too crazy, but like even more than a 9-year-old should be doing probably at times, because my friends are older and smoking a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah.
So thank God it didn't stunt my growth. But
Maybe it did.
imagine it did. I'd be
we're
like
supposed to
9
be
foot
7'5".
I know, dude. They said my grandfather was 7 foot tall, so
I think it might have stunted your growth then.
it did. But I just, getting away from your phones and getting away from you. Like, I've been rewarding myself with my phone that I have to get up and do A, B, and C, and D before I can even look at stuff. 'Cause
Yeah.
I just don't want, like, it's like, for what? Because I'm trying to be better about shit, and I'm trying to grow about that and stuff like that. And then there's some days you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get down with this. You know what I mean?
You know what was crazy is when my friend picked me up, like she had my phone and she handed it to me and like I didn't even want to turn it on.
Did it
Like
feel
I was
dirty?
almost nervous. Yeah, I was almost nervous.
Do
And
we-
Of the chaos that was gonna
Yeah.
ding.
And as
when
soon
you
as I
turned
turned it on, I had like 25 clients and I had 57 notifications on Facebook and
wow.
but it reminds you of like that I'm doing
The
this
weight,
every day
yeah.
and I don't even realize it
All day.
until it's taken away.
Did you realize how overstimulated you were by your phone?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long do you think you could go without your phone a day if you had to? Like now you could do it for 4 days, obviously, but could you imagine if could you even do that? Like just go, no, from 10 to 4, I don't,
Oh.
there's no phone on.
I think I could do it.
Now, how long do you find every day it gets like less away from it? It just recently happened, right?
Yeah.
Do you think every day you just get on your phone a little bit more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm full fledged back,
Back to it.
basically. Yeah. 7 days in.
back at baseline,
Yeah.
right?
Wow. It doesn't take long,
But
does
it's
it?
it's the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we make a living.
Yeah.
But even then, you could, you know.
Well, and even like earlier, I was with a friend today for lunch, and he was on his phone as we were eating. Like, I don't even want to be on my phone, but
Yeah.
he's on his.
We've been sitting
Like,
here for this whole time.
answering-
Guess what? We're not on phones.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't even have it in here. Like, you know,
Mine
I
neither.
was just
Yeah.
like, take it, because I don't want to be.
But sometimes I feel like it's just like a reflex. Like, oh well, they're checking theirs. Might
Right.
as well check
Yeah.
mine. And then I go through like 4 articles or Facebook posts that tick me off. And
You still have that shit on your phone?
what do you mean?
Man,
Facebook?
if anything even remotely hits me a weird way, I unfollow it. I don't care who
Do
it is.
you?
Oh, I don't care. I will not have that in my shit.
Yeah.
Guess what? My feed is like motorcycles, guitars, puppies,
I was gonna
Yeah.
recipes.
puppies and ducks.
Yeah, seriously.
Right.
It's all like
Steak
cool
and
shit.
grilling,
French
right.
bulldogs,
That is the one
pugs.
thing I like about TikTok is the
Uh-huh.
algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
mine's
sucks
all
you
like
in.
funny puppy videos.
Sucks you in though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I did learn some cool construction stuff. That's insane. Oh, I got to tell the number. So look, text this and give us some questions for the next show. The number is 234-200-5949. I did that without my glasses on. I think I got the number right. Jay, was that the right number? Yep, there's his thumbs up. Jay's big thumb up. I think it's interesting what we do for a living, and I think it's hard for people to be around certain people that do what we do for a living, and it's frustrating as shit because they don't know how to, like, they think they like it. They think it's a good idea until they get it. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, shit, you give yourself to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because in their jobs, they barely probably give themselves to a half dozen people, if that.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds for us.
Yeah.
Hundreds, if not thousands. You know, in my life, it's been, I can't even tell you, it's probably over
Oh, yeah, I
20,000
can't
people.
imagine.
It's insane, you know? And how do you share somebody? So sharing somebody, is that a real thing? I mean, like, what does that even mean? People don't want to share. We inherently don't want to share. We're just selfish little fuckers, right?
Humans don't share well. We take turns.
Ooh,
That's it.
that's a good one. But what, I mean, like, why is that so important to people to covet it? Because nothing does well when you covet it.
No.
I mean, most things don't. You know, when you share things, like if
Yeah.
I have food and you guys are hungry, I share, we all eat. And then that way you don't want to get hungry and murder me.
Right. I guess my thought would be that it just comes back to wanting to be a priority because taking turns doesn't sound that bad. Like if you have to go to your mom's and then just like come home
Yeah.
after. If you have appointments, like that's fine. Just
Well, what time are you going to be done? I need to know.
Between 7 and 9:30. Typically my answer.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes longer.
right.
You know, I don't know. It's frustrating as shit for me. I'm not going to lie. I don't care for it. Because it's just one more thing that I need to answer that I just feel like, and that's probably selfish for me, where I'm just like, why am I fucking answering this? Like, it's the same answer.
I don't get that. I don't get that a lot now.
Well, he probably doesn't remember he's married to you. We went over this.
Now I can come home and sometimes he'll ask me how my day is.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't.
He's just
Like,
being-
my
he's
day
being polite,
sucks.
though.
My day sucks. Like,
Yeah.
what I do.
You're not fucking petting
my day
puppies
job,
all day.
Right. My day job sucks. And so he does not want to hear about it. He will. Like, if I have a really bad day and I have to come home and I have to, like,
Right.
process with somebody, I usually just call my friend that's a therapist and process to her
Makes sense.
because she's used to it, as opposed to my family. They don't. That's
Yeah.
just passing on the trauma. That's not okay. But there are days where I come home and I'm like, it just wasn't a good day. I'm gonna go to the bedroom. I'm gonna lay down, and I might need 20 minutes, 30
Yeah.
minutes to just doom scroll through TikTok or nap. I mean, there's been a couple times where I've come home and I'm like, I need to go to sleep.
Really?
Yeah.
I've probably had those too.
Yeah. And then I get up and then I'm good, because usually that door is pretty easy for me to shut, but every once in a while it gets stuck open. Like, and I need a minute.
Right. You need to go back, ball it up, shove it down your belly, be done with it.
I write it out sometimes.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, that's weird you say that, because I thought this week, like, I think I need to start for real journaling for real, because I
It's
haven't
the
done
best.
it. I haven't done it in a long time, and I think it might be important to me, because I feel like staticky lately, and I fucking hate it.
Got to get it out.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's not healthy for me, and I know it's not healthy for the people around me, and I'm trying to be better with that shit. It's frustrating.
That's what I mean. Like, you gotta know. That's what I mean, I guess, when I think of like self-care, is like, I will write, I'll sing in my car. I don't sing in front of people anymore, but like in my
Me either.
car, I will, I will belt. I am that girl
Are
at
you?
the stoplight
Carrie Underwood and the
Do
hell
you
out
keep
of
the
it.
windows down?
sometimes.
I tend to turn my radio down when I stop at the stoplight.
Yeah.
I feel like people are gonna judge me.
Probably.
Listen, and I do sing Carrie Underwood.
I know. I listen. I remember things to my own disadvantage.
Our range
at
is
times.
similar.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty good ass range.
I
can't sing that
I
shit.
can belt her
Carrie's pretty
her
awesome.
range.
Going
in my
through song list that we played last night, it's quite a jump at times. I totally fucked Mike up. I got to apologize in front of everybody. Last night we played a song, and I totally thought Mike was messing it up. And I might have had too much whiskey, but it was all me. So if you were at that show, it was 100% my fault and not Michael's. He was well prepared and very good at what he does. So I apologize, Michael. I felt bad. Like, I felt horribly bad. Even through today, I was like, fuck, man. Embarrassed my friend.
Unlike you.
I can say that's true. It is unlike me. I don't want to embarrass my friends. I always want to lift them up and make them feel better.
But when you do,
was
this is
bad.
like you.
It was
When you
bad.
apologize.
Jeez. It was pretty brutal. So, I think we should all switch jobs for a day. Maybe next Thursday.
We're just rotating.
Yeah. Over a 3-week
I'm taking
period.
yours.
No, you got to do all
I
of
can't
them.
tattoo people.
We're doing. Who
Oh my
cares? They don't
gosh.
care.
Stick figures.
I mean,
You're
I
right.
could tattoo like other tattoo
Look,
artists.
she's like
I've
this.
seen.
Let's do
Give
this
it to
shit.
me.
Let's do this shit.
I want to try.
She likes to hurt people, though. That's what she was into.
There was a couple that I met, this was years ago, and they got a hold of a tattoo gun and they tattooed each other.
Yeah.
And they tattooed like sailboats on each other's butt cheeks. I thought it was the coolest
That's
tattoo
cute.
I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
it did. It
cute.
looked like a first grader.
That's pretty funny.
I would do sailboats.
All
Okay.
right. Well,
Not
that's
on
all,
people's butt cheeks, though.
But that's
I
all.
used to
you-
do like face painting, where you like have the sheet.
yeah.
So like that's what I would like. I can do a tiger. I can do a flower.
Oh, I was like,
whatever. Like
Dude, their
I'm
whole
literally
face.
thinking you put a sheet on somebody. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like, well, in a previous life, I was child development, right? So like, I am artistic and
Yeah.
crafty. So I was always the face painter. And I would be like, oh, so I used to, when I was starting out, I would have like the sheet of
flash.
like,
Yeah.
that like, these are the things I can do. And then I just was like, I don't care. You
want-
don't care what I put on your arm or your face.
No, I have a
You
proud
just want
moment
color.
as a dad with
Go
face
ahead.
painting.
Yeah.
My youngest daughter was at a private Christian school, and the ladies there were super nice. They're like apostolic, and they're just super sweet, wearing dresses every day and just really nice, super long hair, always put up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And they go, hey, we're having a field day, come, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, Thomas, would you like to do the face painting? We know, you're artistic, and, Anna said you would be really good at this. And I was like, yeah.
Absolutely.
These kids are like, I want a snake, I want fire, I want spider webs. I'm like, all right, kid. And I was just like, those
Crushing
girls
it,
couldn't
right,
paint
yeah.
anything. The ladies that work there were like, she's like, I could barely do a butterfly, like
Right,
if
yeah.
that. And I'm like, all this. So Anna was like, that's my dad. Like, it was one of those proud moments. I was like, I think I painted like 42 kids' faces.
bet.
I was like, holy shit. Yeah, that's my proud moment as a
Have you ever done a tattoo of like?
on someone's face. I really don't tattoo people's faces that much, to be honest with you. I've had a few people that I've, if they're heavily tattooed, but I'm not comfortable with it. I'll be honest, I've turned more down. I don't like
Yeah.
doing them. There's something, because I've been in the business a long time, and we are always taught don't tattoo people's hands or faces or necks unless they're heavily tattooed and they have a sustainable job. We had a little bit of responsibility back in the day. I'm not going to lie. We don't really have that responsibility anymore.
Right.
Those rules are out the window. But I have a hard time with it because I don't want to do that to you. I just don't.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, it's my face and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, then there's plenty of people who will.
Yeah, go.
I just don't
Yeah.
feel comfortable with it. So, no, I don't get a lot of the kind of extreme tattooing because that's kind of for shops that are very extreme.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
kind of gravitate towards those kind of people. So I'm very fortunate that I don't have to do that. Do you ever have to turn down hair stuff that you're like, no, I'm not doing
Absolutely.
that? Really? How does that go?
I just say I'm not doing that.
That's all? And you're out?
Because you think it's a bad idea, or because you can't? It
You hate
won't
their
look
face?
what they think it
In
will.
all honesty, a lot of times it has to do with like health of their hair.
Yeah, that's what I
Like if they have
anticipate.
box
Is
black.
that, I'm not doing that because it will not turn out. It's going to fry. You're going to have to come back.
Yeah.
I know you're not going to come back. Like,
Yeah. And then there's like little hints that I drop every once in a while. Like if someone's like, I want my layers like this long on top. And I'll be like, all right, well, that's going to see you on a mullet. And they'll be like, no.
So you have to walk them through it.
Yeah.
So with me, they'll give me, they'll show me a picture on their phone, which is this big. And then I blow it up on my iPad or on the iMac, big.
Right.
And I go, so this whole area that's totally wrong and backwards. And they're like, holy crap, I didn't see that. And I'm like, we have to address this.
Yeah.
And they're like, I didn't even notice that. And I'm like, this is what you said you wanted on you. And I just walk them through it. I'm easy about it now because
Yeah.
I just don't get mad. Like,
Yeah.
I think I need to start getting mad again. I'm going to bring it back mean Thomas. I don't want to. I just don't want to be mad.
Just be nice. It works easier.
No, it does. It does.
It also attracts the
you're
right people.
healthier.
Sometimes. But I don't know. I think sometimes they want you to be mean to everybody else, but just nice to them. We've talked about that. Because that's a selfish thing. Because that means you make them more important than other people. It's a dance, man. And I'm just, it's frustrating.
Over the dance.
Yeah. But with clients, man, you got to dance with them too
Well,
to make them happy, right?
You
Yeah.
literally get paid to make people.
Yeah, you don't have to like eat dinner with them every night.
Right.
No. It's a little different.
Right.
And you have a personal responsibility that you want your client to be happy within reason. You know what I mean? But they
Well,
got
we
to
all
give you
do,
the
yeah.
outline. They have to give you the outline
Right.
of basically like, hey, we
You
have
got
to
to tell
work
me what
within
you
this-
want. Yeah.
Ooh,
What are we working on?
Yeah.
I will help you get there.
Or try. I'll give it hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because you'll see at shops that they'll put it off on the other artist. Like, I'm really busy, but this guy, I'll give you his,
We do that
contact.
at the salon.
Do you?
Like if like an old lady wants a perm, like,
Yeah.
I'm really busy, but Angela will take you.
And she's not there to
Sorry,
defend
Angela.
herself. Yeah. Seriously?
I hate perms.
Is that the bane of existence? So what's up with boys getting perms now?
It's a thing.
It is a thing.
My one client, Landon, he's 16 and he has a mullet and a perm, and he's proud of it. I'm proud of it too,
Well, yeah.
but
So I pick my daughter up from school and I watch all the kids going in and out, and I'm like, I was talking to my friend. I go, what is up with all these kids?
What is
They all have
happening?
curly hair.
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Nobody had that. Not me. And my daughter comes and she's in cosmetology from school. So that's what she's going to school for. And I go, what's up with all these dudes with curly hair? She goes, Dad, they got perms. I was like, shut the fuck. Seriously?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. I was like, wow.
It's like a mop on the top of their head.
It's just like
Yeah.
It's the thing.
it's crazy.
I'd rather date a dude with a mullet.
Than
Than
a
a perm?
perm.
Well, yeah, and the whole thing on the top. It's just wild.
It's a lot.
It is a lot.
My son got a perm. Not a curly one, though. Like a body.
Body wave.
Yeah. Well, because his hair is poker straight and it was super flat. And
Again, we want what we don't have.
every time.
And everybody who has
Every
curly hair
time.
wants
Yep.
straight hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is wrong with us?
I'll tell you what, I was just pissed because he came out and I was like, you look the exact same, just so we're clear.
Where'd you take him?
Down by my house. I live in Stark County.
Okay.
I
I'll do
almost
it.
called.
I'll do it because I'm doing hair next week. And then I'm doing therapy the week after.
Oh, okay.
If you want him to get a tattoo next week, she'll be doing tattoos.
A sailboat?
That's all she does.
Sailboat, jack-o'-lantern, or a flower.
That's it.
A lily.
A lily.
You're going hard. A lily, huh?
Yeah, I'll do
Not
a
like a
lily.
shitty daisy.
No, I don't. Never mind. I don't want to do a daisy. I do better with flowers
Oh,
that end
do
in
tell.
points.
Oh, like a tulip.
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
draw a mean poinsettia. For real, I
Sunflower?
really can. Yeah, I can do a sunflower.
You have a problem with this?
Yeah, the rounding. I'm better with like the
Okay.
yeah. The
Like a
point.
They're never
repetitive
even.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Thank you.
Wow. I've done a lot of flowers.
You
So
did a lot
many.
on me.
I've done so many.
I have a lot of flowers from you.
I like flowers. They're easy. All right. Well, I'm sure we're getting close. Boys, are we getting close? Yeah, thumbs up. So listen, if you're going to a therapist or getting your hair done or getting tattooed, make sure they didn't switch jobs for the week. Just kidding. Be nice to these people that are doing these services for you because they have home lives too, that they bring this shit home. And it's brutal. So my thing for this week is I'm going to work on, do I bring this shit home? And if I do, I probably should fucking stop. So that's my work sheet for that. If you have some attachment styles, you might want to fucking look at what a secure attachment style is and maybe mimic that and try working on that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. I don't think we say that enough. You know,
Here's your homework.
we need some homework. I think
Yeah.
we should start a homework segment. Personally, so I need to do homework. I'm gonna try to journal this week, and I'm gonna try to, keep my phone the fuck out of my hand. To be honest with you, because
That's
I'm
what
not
I'm gonna
gonna
work on.
journal my hand. That was inspiring. So I think that's a good thing too. And if you want to call the hotline, it's not a live number, so I think some people were confused thinking you could call in the show. And maybe one day we'll do a live show, and that'll be totally bonkers, by the way. But 234-200-5949. Text us, ask us questions, talk shit. We'll put you on the show. I will read your shit because it's hilarious. And we'll talk more. Mike's handling the Twitter if you want to get on there and roast him a little bit. Talk shit to him. And we might find another one of his families that we talked about before. He might have another family hiding somewhere, number 3. So you can do that. Leave Justin alone, though. He's not in the mood. But everybody else. Allie, thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Kelly, thanks for coming on the show.
Always.
Be nice to people.
Thanks you. Thomas, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you for my wine.
Thanks, you're welcome.
My chilled wine.
We always try to make sure whoever's here, they get whatever they want to drink. Alcoholic or non-alcoholic. It's good. I just try to be a good host because my friends are good hosts and they inspire me to be a good host. I had some really good lasagna today. So that was delicious. I was very thankful for that. And some ragoons. Non-crab, because they were thoughtful. I'm super
I
thankful.
love crab rangoon.
I can't eat it, but I mean,
Are you allergic?
yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Worst.
Wow.
Sad.
Why is that the worst? More for you. So you got to look,
Such
see?
a positive way of looking.
When did you find out you're allergic to it?
When he almost died. It's traumatic incident number 1.
I didn't really. Oh, I got really sick.
How old were you?
Early 30s.
See, I feel like that's what always happens is people are like 20 years into eating crab
Yeah.
and shrimp
Mine was
and
shrimp,
lobster,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
they
next
enjoy
thing you
it.
know,
It's like over.
It was over. And I went to, so the first time I was like, well, maybe I got food poisoning. Went to a different restaurant a couple months later, and then I was like, nah.
Yeah, that's awful.
No, it was fucking miserable, man. And I just won't. And people are like, well, what about this? Have you tried that? I'm like, it's really, they're like, I don't want to try it because I don't
Yeah,
even
what's
want
the
to like
point?
go
Yeah.
through that. And they're like, well, yeah, but it's really good. I'm like, but you don't understand. It's not worth
Yeah. I've done both.
I'm good.
I've enjoyed it, and I have
Yes.
really not enjoyed it.
Unless I'm stranded on an island and that's all I got to eat, then
Right.
we'll figure it out. And I'll just
Right.
work through it. But
Right.
other than that, no, I'm not doing it. So more for everybody else. That's the way I look at it. So what do we say? Don't ask people about how many
Body
people they've been
counts.
with.
Body
Like,
counts
why
off
do you
the
do that?
table.
Work on
Put
your
your
shit.
phone
Put your
down.
phone down. That was really good. I'm sure that helped you a lot. That's an interesting thing because I don't think most people could do it. I remember doing zip lining, and I was up in the trees for 4 hours, and I left my phone back in the locker because they're like, "Hey, if you
You
drop
had
your
to, but yeah.
phone, you're 90 feet up. We're not going to go get your phone. We'll let you down, and then you got to walk your ass back to the
Yeah.
camp." And I was like, "I'm gonna leave my phone. I don't need my phone." And it's one of the rare times that I've, like I said, playing on stage, I don't have my phone.
Yeah.
And in those trees, I didn't have my phone. And it's the very few times that I totally feel like no one can ask anything else of me.
Yeah.
So I can understand 4 days of that. Could you wrap your head around that?
Yes.
I can't.
Well, aside from that too, just to have, so like you don't have your phone and then you're around a ton of people you don't even know, but you're having productive conversations with them and everyone's so loving and generous and caring.
They're not
So
distracted.
you're getting rid of something and then filling yourself up with something different. Like it was an incredible experience.
What do you think would happen in a relationship if you truly, when you guys are around each other, you didn't have your phone? Like, could you? I don't even know what that would feel like because I'm guilty of it.
We try not to.
Like, we have dinner stuff, and like when I'm with my friends, I try not to look at my
Yeah.
phone. But there's times that we do. I mean, we're all guilty of that. But I wonder what it would be like if you really like set those boundaries.
Yeah.
Because we're all busy setting all kinds of other boundaries.
Right.
What would happen if
Yeah,
we
you,
actually
like,
set
had
a boundary?
basket. You're like,
Yeah, like just like, why do I need it?
right.
Maybe you'd realize you don't like each other that much.
Would probably the turnover rate would.
Because then you'd
move
like
up.
have to be like, so,
We have nothing to talk about.
want to watch something on TV?
We tried to talk about that a little bit before. That I said when I'd start dating somebody, I would put some stressors on them. Like I'd take them on a trip. I want to see how you act outside of your normal routine. I want to see how you act with. Well, I'm saying I want to see how you act at a
I'm just
restaurant you've never
laughing.
been to, where you act with waitresses or different places, like where it's not your normal shit. And if you like do it gracefully or you do it horribly, I'm like, okay, you
Yeah.
get freaked out by everything. You know, like when you go to a restaurant, and you're like, what the fuck is this? You know, I wouldn't find the worst restaurant, but sometimes you go to a nice restaurant, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? This is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, so I think the stressor of not having a phone. I wonder what would happen if you really did get to know. Because what does it mean to really know someone? Like, I mean, I'm sure we've all been in relationships where we thought we knew that person. We're like, huh.
Yeah.
I know shit. That's like a Quentin Tarantino film. I just feel like I'm confused as shit at the end of this thing. You know what I mean? Like, what the? That was a dude?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. So,
No comment.
I mean, seriously, right? You're a hairdresser. You've heard it all. Like, how do you really know someone? You only know what they allow you to know, right?
Yeah.
And they only know what you allow them
Until
to know.
you've like, I don't know.
Goes
find
back
it
to me
out.
not caring. I guess I don't need to know. You'll let me know what I need to know. But I was raised in a family like that. You get told, you know what you need to
We
know.
were very private.
Yeah. So like, I guess that's probably why. Do you think that is why we do? We were wrapping up the show, and here we are to another fucking subject. Sorry. Yeah, wrap it up, Mike. I know Mike's wrapping us up. Do you think that's why we do what we do? Breakthrough.
Maybe.
Because
Yeah.
we are taught such privacy.
Yeah.
Like I was taught, dude, we didn't talk about money. We didn't talk
No.
about it. Okay, right?
No.
See her face.
Nope.
So when a girl's like, I didn't
No.
know you spent money on that. I was like, why would I tell you that I spent money on
Yeah.
that? Like, that's not,
Nope.
this is our own private business. Like,
No.
yeah,
we
but
didn't talk
I'm
about-
your girl. And I understood why she was doing that because it was her own shit from somebody else and
Yeah,
it was like a
right.
trust thing. But I was like, I don't talk about my
No.
finances with anybody. I really don't.
Nope. Family drama? Nope. Relationship issues? Nope.
Health.
Health issues?
No.
That's
Dude.
kind of how my family is.
Unless it was like a big deal. Like if it was a big deal. But like I usually.
Dude, I
like,
drove
my dad
my
had
dad-
surgery and I didn't know.
Okay, I drove my dad 4.5 hours to the VA hospital. He had a procedure done. He never spoke to me about what he had done.
Yeah.
I just
Oh,
know when
gosh.
we left, We were running out of that motherfucker like he stole something or killed somebody in there. He's like, let's go. And we were like, I was like, okay.
Are you good? Are there discharge papers?
Yeah, dude, because I sat there for so long. I'm just kind of, you get dazed. You're just this. And all of a sudden he runs out. He's like, let's go. And we're like booking out. And we're in a car for another 4.5 hours on the way home. And
No
not
words.
one fucking word. Most stoic motherfucker ever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like this. So we're just not going to talk about this shit, huh?
See?
No.
Maybe that is what we have in common.
Fuck. I'm sorry to
And
everyone
now-
I've ever dated. I'm so sorry. This is a product of my entire environment growing up, and I thought it was a safety net. It is not. It is. I'm sorry.
Dysfunction at their
Fuck.
at its greatest.
Ugh.
Next week.
Next week will be me caring about everything. I'm kidding. Fuck off.
Bring your
No.
journal entries.
Oh, do you want me to read them out loud? Probably not going to do that.
You just call in.
I should
Call
call-
in.
Hey, y'all, it's Thomas.
I mean, not Thomas. I mean, I'm hanging up.
It's Billy.
I call back. Hey,
Damn Billy.
this is Billy.
Ruins everything.
Billy does fuck up everything.
Yeah.
Gross. Just kidding. All right, be nice to everybody. We're going to wrap up. They're going to play this thing. Thank you guys for everything you do, and have a great night. Journal. Put your fucking phone down. Outro music.